Hi.
Whoa!
Sorry, I didn't mean to startle.
You didn't. I just, whoa, that's more like a warrior, like strikes fear into the hearts of... Let's start the show.
Hi, welcome to Mighty Fine Shindig, a Firefly podcast from Common Room Radio. I'm Liz Stevens.
I'm Sarah Kate Fazant.
And I'm Vinton Bain.
And it's my birthday!
It's your birthday! Happy birthday, Sarah!
When this comes out...
It's your birthday. God bless you this day. Remember
that was Michael Jackson on The Simpsons.
Yeah, it was.
On The Simpsons. I love that episode.
It's a great episode.
amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. So when this episode of MFS drops, it will actually be the Tuesday after my birthday, but we are recording on my birthday.
Podcast time.
Hello, future people.
Howdy, future people.
Thank you for all of the nice things you said about me on Twitter. It made me feel real good.
It's true. She's glowing. She's just
am.
beaming today.
And I
More
haven't
than
even
usual.
exfoliated my face yet. That will happen later.
Your happy thoughts exfoliated my face for me.
Do it harder. There's a zit above my eyebrow. So this week we're doing Heart of Gold, the 13th episode of Firefly.
And one of my personal favorites.
It is a really good
good.
episode, and I think we're going to have some really interesting discussions
There's
today.
lots to talk about, and it
Yes.
had some problems with the writing. Not a whole lot of problems, but just they were trying to do a whole lot in a real
were.
short time. I really wish this could have been a two-parter.
That would have been-
I think
yeah,
it would have
I
been
agree.
really strong as a
Yeah.
two-parter, but here we are.
And I think that a lot of the themes that we experience in this episode oddly applicable to today's political climate.
Tell me about it. Smash the patriarchy.
That's right. Damn right. For my birthday, I want you to smash the patriarchy, please.
That's right.
Thank
Just
you.
a little bit more than you usually would,
That's
because we're
right.
expecting that you already are smashing the patriarchy.
Yes.
Naturally,
Yep, just smash
every
a
day.
little harder.
Smash
Punch
a little
an extra
harder.
Nazi today.
Yep. Send us a photo maybe of you doing the thing, a quick little video. That'd be great.
So, this episode was directed by Thomas J. Wright, who has done a ton of things, guys.
Oh,
a
really?
ton. And I had a hard time narrowing down the list. It's already a long list, but I narrowed it down quite a bit.
Oh.
3 episodes of Max Headroom, 9 episodes of The Old Beauty and the Beast with Ron Perlman.
No way.
Holy smokes. Just never remembered that was a thing.
Yeah, 6 episodes of Highlander.
Highlander.
Wait, Highlander was a show?
Yeah, it was a long-running,
a
really awesome show,
long-running
actually.
show.
I really
Oh.
liked it. I don't know how well it holds up today.
don't know.
But The X-Files, 3 episodes. 1 episode of The Wire, which I know a lot of people really love The Wire.
I've still never seen The Wire, but I have
Neither
heard
have I,
only
yeah.
the highest
I tried
praise.
watching it once at like 3 a.m., fell asleep, not the show's fault.
Yeah, fair enough.
9 episodes of One Tree Hill, 10 episodes of Castle, 39 episodes of NCIS,
Holy smokes.
14 episodes of Supernatural, and those are
Whoa.
just the highlights.
Wow. Well, way to go, Thomas J.
He was also the artist who created the paintings used in Rod Serling's television horror anthology Night Gallery, if you've ever seen that show from the 70s. He created all the paintings.
have.
I have
So-
no idea what that is.
I love Rod
Whoa.
Serling. I love the Twilight Zones, what they grew up on. So, like, Night Gallery's up my alley, and I had no idea. I never even put any thought into who had done those
Forgot
paintings.
about that.
But-
That's really
crazy.
cool.
That's
wow.
sort of random information. And it is written by Brett Matthews. And this is Brett Matthews' directorial debut. He was known as a comic book writer and worked on a lot of TV shows. He was assistant to Joss Whedon on Buffy
Nice.
and Angel and Firefly. He wrote 3 episodes of Supernatural, 14 episodes of Vampire Diaries, was the executive story editor on Supernatural for 21 episodes.
Oh, wow.
And the supervising producer for 31 episodes of Vampire Diaries. And he co-wrote the Serenity book prequel miniseries Those Left Behind and Better Days with Joss Whedon. He also has written Daredevil, Spider-Man, and Wolverine comic books for Marvel Comics.
Wow.
This guy is like a renaissance
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
at
that is
history,
like some
and I love
prolific
it.
work, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely.
Pat on
And
the back.
Also,
sir.
clearly doesn't enjoy doing like regular TV shows. This is a guy
Yeah.
after my own heart.
Yeah, that's
Needs a little
right.
bit of the supernatural element inside of everything he
For
touches.
sure.
I
I'm
like
into
that.
it.
Uh-huh.
And these guys did a great job because Heart of Gold was nominated for a 2004 Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation Short Form.
Wow. See, I knew I really liked this one. And now that I think about it, it had some really lovely direction, actually.
It really did,
I was
yes.
following the story so hard, I didn't quite pick up on those things as much as I might otherwise.
Right.
But there is great work with light in particular
Oh,
done
yes.
in the episode.
And I think the color palette as well. And I mean, like, just some
Yeah.
beautiful shots, just some excellent, and I mean,
Yeah. And fantastic choices.
Right, and just kind of paying attention to what people are doing in the background. Everyone is
Yes.
just really. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a very. It feels very alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
and
I
it's
like
just
that.
really, really well done.
Yeah. Good call. I like that a lot.
And I really like that it feels kind of like Magnificent Seven, Seven Samurai, those really great films. And I think that's where some of the problem comes in, because those films had, hours and hours to tell their stories. And this only has 45 minutes or less. So.
All right, well, let's get into this episode.
Time for some thrilling heroics.
So in our cold open, we zoom in on a tinfoil building. People approach on horses and a hovercraft.
Which
Small
is
personal hovercraft.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Small personal hovercraft, horses, Old West, this janky tinfoil building that I just like. The world building here is cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, this is the big, it's out all the way on its own.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and there's something about it that just tells you, like, this is a podunk town, you know?
Right.
This is a good place for a last stand.
Yeah.
A good place for a last stand. That's exactly right, Sarah. I like it. Although, the girls do look clean
They
and pretty
do.
and
Yeah.
lovely and classy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
My girls are clean
Nandi
and really
runs
nice.
a tight ship.
And they were. Nandi does run a tight ship.
Nandi,
Man.
also a good captain.
Nandi, also a good captain.
Yeah.
We will get
Absolutely.
more into that. Yes.
Yeah.
I
So-
have lots of things to say about Nandi.
At this point, Nandi comes out, and let's go ahead and introduce one of our biggest guest stars of the episode. Melinda Clarke played Faith Taylor on the daytime drama Days of Our Lives for quite a long time.
Nice.
Julia Cooper on the OC, a professional dominatrix, Lady Heather on CSI
Lady Heather.
for quite a few episodes, and she has commented before on how she gets typecast in that role quite often.
Well, she's
damn good at
she
it.
smolders.
Yes.
She's amazing. Yeah.
She played Amanda on the action thriller television series Nikita, and she was
cool.
a recurring character on Vegas and played Tracy in Dallas, the remake of Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas. Didn't watch, but yes.
She is utterly stunning in this episode.
Yeah,
She's
wonderful.
amazing.
I
I
love
have
her.
so many good things to say about her.
Yeah.
Like, shockingly good things to say about her. She is extraordinary and amazing. And I forgot that she died in the end. And I was just so mad.
Yeah.
Right? I was so mad because, gosh, what a better foil. And of course, then I'm like, where's season two? Where's season two?
Yes.
Because what a better foil she would have been. And maybe not even necessarily a foil, but how they had wanted to bring, what are we calling her? Saffridge. They had wanted to have her as kind of like this ultimate
Romantic
love
foil,
interest
yeah.
and the romantic foil. And I never really liked that or got it much. But Nandi and Mao.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, the only
Very
problem.
interesting.
Yeah, the only problem with that is that there's no way in hell Nandi was going to leave the Heart of Gold. Like, there was
Right.
no way that she was going to
And-
Well, they
leave.
didn't have to be together.
And even after, yeah. Well,
We'll get to it.
We'll get to
We'll
it.
get there. We'll get to it. I have thoughts.
So at this moment, Rance Burgess steps out of his little hovercraft, and I'll introduce our next biggest guest star of the episode.
Yes.
The yellow-eyed demon.
Yeah, Frederick Lane, who has appeared in over 200 films, miniseries, and television episodes,
Really?
including a bunch of work on Broadway as well.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. His TV credits include Bones, Lost, Criminal Minds, Supernatural, Malcolm in the Middle, CSI, NCIS, The X-Files, Chicago Hope, ER, and Babylon 5, to name a few. And his films include Men in Black, Con Air, Zero Dark 30, and The Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight
Wow.
Rises?
I didn't see Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd have to
surprised
go back
that
to
he was
see
in. I don't remember him
who
in
he was.
Lost.
You know what I do remember him in, though? Supernatural as Yellow-Eyed
Supernatural
Demon.
yellow-eyed demon. He was amazing.
He was amazing in that. He's amazing in
and
this.
he's amazing in this.
He's such a good bad guy.
He's an excellent villain.
He plays an amazing villain.
Just
like he just
sinister.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's something almost. I mean, it's not as though he's like one of those guys who's like, oh, this guy's very amicable, but also, oh my God, he would murder me. Like, you just are stuck. You're rooted to the spot when you see this guy because it's like, if I move from this spot, this guy will murder me.
Yes,
right?
I will be
Like,
dead. Uh-huh.
I am dead now unless he lets me leave.
And I hate him immediately. First
Oh,
word
yeah.
out of his
Absolutely.
mouth.
Yes.
I just
Yeah.
hate him.
Oh man, Rance Burgess is a bad man.
Absolutely, yeah.
We've been dealing with a lot of bad
We
men
have.
recently.
Yeah, I feel like that's a recurring pattern to the show.
Yes.
Right?
Nandi tells Rance that he isn't welcome there, and he says that he's here for what's his, and then says, the only rights you got are the ones I give you, and I'm already yelling for my Firefly crew to get this guy.
Right?
Yeah,
Smash the
that's-
patriarchy.
smash the
What
patriarchy.
a dip. Man, I
What-
don't like this
yeah.
guy.
It is a problem.
Right? And
that
then the
he-
super horrifying DNA test.
Yeah, where he like just
Yeah.
takes this giant syringe
Yes.
thing and just like first of all, That has got to cause some sort of trauma to the baby,
Yeah,
right? I
I
know that the baby is like pretty grown and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and he couldn't have known where he was hitting, where
No.
the
Yeah,
baby
you don't
was
know where that
lying.
baby's
yeah.
at.
Super
It
sci-fi.
might have just stabbed your
stabby
son
object.
in the brain,
Yep.
but whatevs.
Yeah.
So
Short-term goals.
you do
Yeah.
find out that Rance is looking for this girl, Pedaline, and then he says she isn't there, but his men pull her out from the building.
Yeah.
And he stabs her with this DNA thingamajig and threatens that if the DNA matches, he'll be back and he'll cut that baby out of her if he has to.
I feel like this guy doesn't know how babies work.
Yeah, I don't.
Like much of the patriarchy.
Yeah, like much of the patriarchy.
You know what? That's fair. Actually, much of the patriarchy does not know how babies work.
How do, baby?
Where do Babby come
Where do
from?
Babby come
Asks
from?
the patriarchy.
So he then leaves with his men. We then see a couple of the other girls come out. I think now I'm just going to go ahead and introduce the other guest stars that we have since there are all these
Sure,
girls
absolutely.
here.
Sure.
So we have Kimberly McCullough as, is it Shari? Shari? I think
Shari.
I think it's Shari, right. They only
Damn
say
it,
it a couple
Shari.
times.
So Sarah just like yelled it. Shari, I hate
I
her.
hate Shari. What were you? We'll get there.
We'll get there.
And the only interesting note here for her is really actually quite interesting, and it's that she played Robin Scorpio on the soap opera General Hospital.
Hang on, her name was Robin Scorpio?
Robin Scorpio. It's soap operas, right?
Soap opera.
I think
What
she's
do you
played
want?
other characters since then, but that's where she started. At the age of 7, and has been on that show since 1985, off and on. Like she's had a couple
That's
of
how
years
soap
off
operas
and back
go.
on, but yeah,
Right?
since
Like,
1985,
you land
the age
a
of
role
7.
and you get to just, that's like your life. That is your job, is you are now
Yeah.
on the soap opera forever.
Right?
Wow.
And then Lucy, played by Angie Hart. Angie Hart is an Australian pop singer, best known for her group Frente, I think is how you would pronounce it, and then her indie pop duo Splendid with her husband. She was in 2 episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. One, in the episode I Only Have Eyes for You, she wrote the song Charge.
Okay.
And then, in the episode Conversations with Dead People, she performed solo with a song that she wrote with Joss Whedon called Blue. And she's the one that sings at the funeral at the end of this episode.
Okay, got it. Well, she did a
Perfect.
great
Okay.
job.
She did.
Very beautiful.
Nandi tries to comfort Pedaline and reassures her girls as they ask who will help them.
Yeah.
Cut to Mal playing with his pistol and Inara entering the room scaring him and Mal saying, "Bois."
My favorite part of this is after Inara has left and Mal just takes his gun and is just pointing and he just very quietly, "Bwah."
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
It's a great little, that whole sequence is adorable. It's
Right.
really cute. It's good Mal and Inara. I love Inara in the scene. She's
Why is she being so
casual.
feisty?
Well, is she being feisty? I think she's just being playful.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I liked it, and I thought she was being quite flirty with the.
They don't
Yeah.
flirt well is the problem. Their flirting looks like bickering.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're
Their relationship
flickering.
again is pretty unhealthy.
I think that's the way you flirt
dysfunctional.
when you're not willing to admit that you have a crush on somebody.
Basically, yeah, it's like fourth graders
Yep.
flirting. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make it all right.
No, it doesn't make it all right. I completely agree. Anyway, I was going to say I really like how softened up she is in this
Oh
scene. She
yeah,
has much
I
less
love
makeup
that
on
her
than
hair
usual.
is so like just kind of the natural waves that her hair must do. Yeah,
Beautiful. And just kind of in a robe. I mean, like her casual is still like super fancy.
right. Naturally,
Which I'm into. I like
Yes.
that. I get you, girl. So yeah, I like this
I
a
love
lot.
whenever she's teasing Mal and she's like, any petty criminal knows that the smallest gun goes on the left-hand placement of the, and it's just being
Yeah.
cute. Like they were being cute.
How
Yeah.
to set a table with your guns.
Yes.
It was cute.
One interesting note here is that because of Mal's sound effect "bois," a bunch of fans took this Western-themed card game called Bang, which I guess is a pretty popular card game, and they remade it with Firefly themed and called it Bois.
That's amazing.
And you can find it online.
Oh, that's excellent. I've
So-
never played Bang, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, so yeah, find the Firefly version, Bois.
Wow.
It's kind of fun to say.
I like when Mal says, it's not wise sneaking up on a man when he's handling his weapon, and I'm like, is that supposed to be slightly sexual?
Right. It's a little strange. And she said something like, "So I've heard."
Yes.
I've heard that before.
They're flirting.
Then Wash enters and says there's a distress call. And Mal says, really, folks asking help from us petty crooks. Jarring at Inara there. And as Mal gets up to answer, Wash tells him it's for Inara.
Actually.
To which Mal says, this distress wouldn't happen to be taking place in someone's pants, would it?
Unnecessary.
Kind of funny.
It does make me laugh,
Unnecessary.
though.
Yeah, it makes me laugh. Yep, it's a
And then
good line.
He aims the gun at the screen. Blah.
Wow.
And we get our opening, Act 1. Nandi asks Inara for help via the cortex, which is the thing I always forget what it's called.
Space-time?
Space-time. Yeah.
Space-time.
Space-time?
It's called the cortex.
It's called space-time, but whatever.
No, it is space-time. It just happened to be called the cortex.
Gotcha.
Inara says that the crew can handle it, though she can't guarantee that they will handle it particularly well. And
They've got guns.
Yeah, and he says, if they've got guns and brains and all, Inara says, well, they've got guns.
I love that she says, I'm imposing, but I've got no one else to ask. It would be easy for her to say, oh, and I hope I'm not imposing, and I can understand if you can't, and kind of waffle around it.
Right.
There's no waffling. She's like, I am imposing. This is too much to ask.
Yeah.
You're the only one I can ask. I'm asking you anyway.
Yeah.
She makes no apologies for it, and I really respect that a lot. But she's still being considerate of Inara's time.
And we find out that the house, the companion organization here, has ordered Inara to shun Nandi when Nandi had left.
Yeah.
But Inara says that the house can engage in a feces hurdling contest with a monkey in Chinese.
Oh,
That's
in Chinese.
amazing.
Ew.
And then Nandi says, I'll wait to hear from you, and blessing on you, dear sister, in Chinese.
And, like, that's real cute. House of companions telling Inara what she can and can't do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm learning some things about Inara in this episode. We never find out why she left.
So Mal was eavesdropping and heard most of this conversation.
Damn it, Mal.
I like that Inara knows it and says, I suppose you heard most of that, only because I was eavesdropping.
Yeah, and I hate this, though.
Does that shuttle door not have a lock?
I don't
Well,
understand.
and here's the thing,
Mal, get out of
I
her
do kind of hate
shuttle.
that part. It is expected at this point. That doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
But I do like the way he responds right after that. With the way he says, your friend sounds like she's in a peck of trouble. And he's like, really, he seems concerned. And and then he offers to do the job for free. He's like, no, we'll help you. If this needs help, we'll do it. We'll just do it.
Sure. This is part of their destructive cycle that I hate, though, because she shows so much. She asserts herself so often and asserts her independence and attempts to assert her autonomy so often. And he just doesn't care. He just walks
I
right
hadn't
through
thought
those
about that
boundaries.
with him
And, like,
offering
he
to do the
always
job.
ends up doing, like, the noble or the
Sure.
honorable thing.
Which is
but
why
it's
she
on, like,
consistently
his-
forgives him and lets him back in.
Right, and it's on his terms.
On his
like
terms.
it's absolutely like, well, yes, I stormed in here, but now I'm going to help you and your friend. Aren't I such a great guy? You want to know what would have been great if you had waited like 2 minutes, and I was gonna come ask you
Yep.
anyway.
Exactly.
See, this is why every male needs female friends to tell him when things aren't okay. Because I was just like, Mal was being a good guy here after that part.
After that part, sure. And
I thought it
again,
was
but
good.
that
I
is
thought it was
why
great,
he
but-
and Inara keep getting in these messes, because
Right.
it's always, if you can just get past him being a complete asshole, then he's going to be this great, noble, charming guy.
Right.
But he's not getting past being an asshole.
Right, like
So
we
you
have to
can't
like
either.
he's asking Inara. He's not even asking. He's telling Inara,
Yeah.
like, I am a good, noble, honorable man. Once you get past this assholery,
Yeah.
Instead
And
of
you
being
just have to
like-
deal with
and
that.
You just got to deal with
You
that.
gotta
I'm not
accept me as I
changing.
am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to take me the way that I am, and then underneath that, you'll see what a good person I am, and like the golden veneer beneath the rusty
Right.
exterior. No, just like quit though.
And she has lost her agency with him
Yeah.
because she's attracted to him because she's in love with him.
Yeah.
She has lost the ability that she would have if he was just some guy and not Mal. If she wasn't in love with him, there is no way in hell she would stand for him busting
She
into her
wouldn't let
shuttle.
Atherton Wing come butting into her shuttle
Right?
every other week.
Yeah, there's no
This
way.
is one of the things you learn in counseling, that there's a thing called boundaries.
That's right.
And you
We
are
did a whole
responsible
porch club about it.
for
We sure
telling
did.
people what your boundaries are. And
Yeah.
when they don't respect them, you leave.
That's
That's right. Yeah,
you set
Mal
up a
does
consequence
not.
and you follow through.
That's right.
Mal
Set
does
up a
not respect
consequence.
Inara's boundaries whatsoever, and it is one of the very many problems in this relationship. And again, like, obviously, we all love Mal and Inara.
Of course, they've got great chemistry.
They're
Yeah,
what-
sure.
like, I want them to be together and to kiss and have 100 fat children, but
But they both just are like bad for each other in
They're-
the way they act
they
to each
really
Bad
are.
for
Mal
yeah,
doesn't
they
respect
feed into
boundaries,
it.
and then Nara doesn't enforce her boundaries whatsoever
yeah.
with him. Just lets him do whatever he wants.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so he thinks he can.
Yeah.
Ugh, yep, agreed.
And it's not like it's like an abusive relationship where he
Right.
has power over her, because she's definitely the more powerful to do
Right.
and could stop it if she
Oh,
wanted to.
absolutely. She just chooses not to because of her feelings
Yeah.
for it. I don't know. It's
I don't
very...
know. Decades later, though, it could get to that spot really easy.
It could.
No, it absolutely
Yep.
could. Yeah. And I don't
But
want
Nara
to
is
think
strong,
that...
and we've seen it over and over.
Yeah.
And we
Right.
see it here in this episode. She's a
We're
strong
gonna
Yeah.
see it.
person.
She's one of the
this
most
episode.
like powerful people on all of
Yeah.
Serenity. Like, I mean, like as far as like social etiquette is concerned, and all of that. I mean, she is the one who went into Paradiso and saved Zoe and Mal because
Oh,
of
yeah.
her station as a
Absolutely.
companion. And I mean, was it just last week where Inara was telling about, I can get us to places, where there are more jobs, that all the jobs don't have to be criminal and all this other stuff. And she's exactly right. But Mal has to do everything Mal's way, which is he doesn't want to compromise. And it's just pig-headed.
Yeah, it's not good.
It is something I like, though, in my stories, where the hero is not perfect.
I do agree.
No, absolutely. Yes,
Again,
yes.
compelling television, compelling relationship.
Right. People are
Just
people,
also
and people drop the
dysfunctional.
ball often.
Right, yeah.
Don't
So
I
if
know
we
from
were
personal
to-
experience.
Yeah. Ideally, if we were to be able to have seen this show continue, then, for Mal to grow as a character, eventually we would get to a scene where, he would walk up to Inara's shuttle and, almost bust in, but then, stop and, knock first before entering, and then actually wait for her to, tell
And
him
then
to
she
come
would
in.
open the door and they would share a steamy kiss and tell each other that they love each other, and everything would change from right then.
Yeah,
Right?
it'd be great.
That's how it happened. That's the fan
exactly.
fiction I've written, anyways.
Flesheater.tumblr.com.
It's on my Tumblr.
Also, years of couples therapy. I'm just saying.
I do like here
Maybe
that
they shouldn't get together. They probably
Are we
shouldn't
just gonna
get
do this
together,
now?
right? Yeah, let's just do this
You
now.
guys, Mal and Inara should not be together.
shouldn't be
They are
together.
terrible for each other. The strongest thing she has done this whole season is tell Mal that she's leaving.
Yeah.
That is her finally enforcing a boundary. What sucks is that she doesn't express why.
Right.
She leaves him guessing, which is again part of their terrible
they
relationship.
can't
Because it's like
communicate-
their bodies communicate to each other
Yes.
all the effing time.
Yeah.
Eye contact, they completely get it. There's that moment over Nandi's body
Where they
even,
have an entire conversation
an
without
entire
a single
conversation
word.
with no words. Yeah,
Yeah.
which happens with them all the time. But as soon as their mouths start flapping, they just completely lose it.
Yeah.
They're terrible for each other.
So she leaves, and Mal's standing there thinking that what she said is, you love this family too much and you can't also love me. When what she's actually saying is, we can't love each other because we're terrible for each other, and I have to go so that this isn't a distraction for you anymore? Or not even that, but just for Inara, I have to go because this will not work.
I think Inara has to go because she has recognized that she has put herself in a position of powerlessness with Mal. She left the house of companions. She made that decision, and I think it was because she didn't like that being hemmed in and told what to do. And if you have that in your personality, if you find yourself in relationships where, and it does, it becomes cyclical in your life, where you fall into the pattern of obedience and duty and devotion and just getting kind of stepped on. So she left the house. And remember when she first came on to Serenity and was talking so strongly about her
Right.
autonomy and how she wanted the shuttle to just be hers and not to
Yes.
have anybody in it. And now she has landed herself again in a different house,
In a different kind of
in
servitude.
Mal's house. And she can't be there.
Yeah.
A damn shame. They'd make pretty babies.
I think they would have written this in a really intriguing way had we gotten season 2, and they would have done some really
Yes.
interesting, amazing things, and we will forever be fanficking and guessing.
Yeah, it's so true.
But I agree, unless one or both of them change, then yeah, they absolutely should not end up together.
I think they probably had plans for them to grow.
I
Yeah.
certainly hope so. Yeah.
But jumping back to where we were in the episode, I really like that Mal refers to the girls as companions, and then Inara corrects him and says, "Oh no, they're whores." And Mal looks dumbfounded and confused. And Inara explains it applies because they aren't registered with the guild.
Right. You would still think there might be a slightly more polite way of saying that, but I think she was kind of throwing it back at him on purpose. So
Whore is not a great word.
it's not a great word. Yeah, prostitute,
Sex worker?
professional,
Lady.
Maybe it's
lady
one of
the
those things
night.
where they're taking it back.
Scarlet woman.
They're proud of
Scarlet women.
it. They're like, no, we're whores. We're proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
That's our
Well,
word.
it can't just be Scarlet women because they got the boy whores too.
That's true.
Ain't
Scarlet
that
folks.
awful?
That's true. They're her boys. I keep forgetting that because they don't really show them much.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the one guy has like
Yeah,
the
just-
crazy death fall into the wall, which
Yeah, and then the other
pretty
boy
comical.
was the other guy was helping hang the laundry, and then
Right.
there's just one
Yeah.
like lounging on the chair,
Just
like making
lounging.
eyes over
Yeah.
at Simon.
I did not
Cute.
catch that.
Oh, you
That's
didn't?
amazing.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely hitting on Simon with his eyeball.
Yeah, pretty cute.
I do like that Mal shoots back independent when she says they're not registered with the guild.
Right.
Oh, independent.
A rebel like me? I like them
I'm
already.
in. Done. Yeah, you tell Jane they're whores, and Jane's like, I'm in. You tell Mal these are independents fighting against the man, and Mal's in.
That's totally true. Mm-hmm.
And when Mal tells her that they'll do the job without any kind of money, she says that she insists that they keep their business strictly a business arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
And-
again, I think is part of asserting her autonomy from
Yeah.
him. Yeah. Doesn't want to be in his debt.
It would have worked better if you had, like, looked him in the eye and said that, but she
I
doesn't.
agree.
She's looking straight at her screen and, like, not... You can't say an assertive thing and not, like, be...
Body language.
Body language. Your
Yeah.
body language. You are being subservient in your body language, looking away, being demure, like sitting, being low, because he's standing at this point,
Yep.
lowering yourself, and then saying this assertive thing. That's not going to mean a damn thing to Malcolm Reynolds.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
It is very frustrating. Whew.
So we cut to Zoe telling the crew that they can join this job if they want or stay on the ship.
Yeah.
And Jane voices his hesitation for getting involved without an upfront price negotiated. I do like really a lot that Book says, these people need assistance. The benefit wouldn't necessarily be for you. And Jane says, that's what I'm saying.
Adam Baldwin's hysterical in this scene. I love the hand raise with the finger wag that he's doing. Ah! Yeah, it's very good.
Zoe says, no one's forcing them. Jane says, good. Don't know these folks, don't much care to. And then Mal says, they're whores. And not even a beat. And Jane goes, I'm in.
Oh, Jane.
Indeed.
The writer of this episode said that Jane in a whorehouse is like fish in a barrel. There's so many good jokes to be like pulled out of it left and
Oh, I
right.
see
It's
what
just,
you're saying.
it's just
Right,
a really
right.
fun thing to write.
Well, and Liz had pointed out something really interesting in that, Jane finds his girl at the Heart of Gold and then is like very monogamous with this girl. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, that's
He
just
picked
his girl.
one. This
yeah.
is mine.
He's like brushing
Claimed
her hair
Dibs.
in one scene, like just being really tender and sweet with her. They're like snuggling on the bed and everything, and then he's like showing her all the guns and telling her all this stuff, and then it's just like, it's really darling.
Yeah,
It
they show
is.
them like,
But I think it does show some of what we've been trying to explain about that sex is more than just sex, and
Yeah.
that Inara being a companion is more than just being a companion. That there is this idea of, this special little relationship that also provides you comfort and humor.
Yeah.
And it's actually a nice little window into that even Jane needs that kind of companionship.
Yeah.
Right.
planet side, Jane asks the question that we've all been asking, why does the house look like it's covered in aluminum foil?
Right, a frozen dinner pack.
Kaylee explains that it's solar sheeting for cheap power, which I love. I love that
Yeah,
little bit
very
of
smart.
storytelling there.
I also
And-
like that Jane got all gussied up. He's wearing
Yeah.
like his button-up
Yeah, he's
shirt
got
and a
like
hat.
his nice,
trying to look
he's
all
got, like
nice.
the what do you call it?
Bolo tie.
Yeah, the bolo tie.
And Jane says, hope the whores are prettier than the house, and gets a death stare from Zoe, which
Which
I
is
like.
the best.
Because without that death stare, I would have been upset at that line.
Yeah,
But I do like it when Zoe looks back.
Yep.
Inside, Nandi greets the crew. And Mal says, any friend of Inara's is a strictly business-like relationship of mine.
Which is funny. I
And
like
also
it.
not true.
Also,
Clearly.
yeah, I hadn't thought about that, the calling forward of that.
Yeah.
That's great. Mal introduces Zoe and then says he'll introduce the rest later. They're good folk. To which Jane says, can I start getting sexed already?
Oh,
As he
Jane.
approaches one of the
Gross.
girls. And Mal says, well, that one's kind of horrific.
Which is so true. He's
Yeah.
just being the worst right here. Yep.
So,
He has not yet become charming.
which is better? We have Mal, who is supposed to be our noble hero, but who refuses to respect Inara's boundaries ever. And then we've got Jane, who says the most terrible, deplorable things, but as soon as you tell him off, he shuts down and stops doing the terrible, deplorable thing. Which one of these is the better man?
I mean, I don't know if we can compare them exactly like that and say who's the better man. But yes, they both have their problems. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, but you know what? Jane stops when you tell him to stop.
That's
Only
that is
if
true.
you're powerful and intimidating.
That
I
is
guess that's
also
because it's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
If Jane
you
did not
have to
respect
be
you and you had
better
no
than
power over
Jane.
him, he would not.
Yep, that is very
fair.
true.
Or maybe if you're just a pretty lady, but I guess that makes you powerful over Jane.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose Simon wouldn't be able to get him to stop.
Nope.
You're so right. Absolutely. Yep.
Zoe, Inara, Mal, and Nandi leave to talk business. And then Kaylee is adorable.
She
is. Oh, Kaylee, first of all, Still apparently super pissed off at Simon from the cow fetus room.
Yep.
Because, Simon is really uncomfortable being there in the room, and he's just like, isn't there a pregnant woman I'm supposed to examine?
I like Kaylee saying, look, they got boy horrors. Isn't that thoughtful? Wonder if they service girl folk at all. And Wash says, let's not ask.
And then doesn't Wash also say you'd lie with someone?
Yeah, you'd lie with someone being paid for it. And Kaylee says, well, it's not like anyone else is lining up, to examine me.
Yeah,
and
so
glances at Simon.
pretty bitter.
Yeah. So pointed.
Really frustrated. Do you think that Kaylee slept with a boy whore?
I don't know. She might have.
She might have.
I don't know. I think they would have shown something, and then of course we get the line from Nandi about how Jane appears to be the only one taking advantage of the services.
Oh, that's right.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I don't know. Then we get Jane yelling, my John Thomas is about to pop off and fly around the room. There's so much tasty in here, which is a kind of a funny line, but also like, what?
Totally gross.
That's
Do
really
not
gross.
Like.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I don't like that.
Nope, don't like.
What?
Jane,
John
gross.
Thomas? What?
Have you never heard of John Thomas before?
No.
That's a pretty common.
I thought that was
it?
made up for the show. I had never heard
Yeah,
this
I have
before.
never heard a penis called a John Thomas.
It definitely has been before in
All
the
right.
past by many folk. Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Must be
Now you know.
antiquated.
Must be. Only us fancy people know about John Thomases.
Wow, goodness. And then Wash says, you sure do get eloquent when talking about your pecker,
Yep,
which
would be.
was really funny.
It was funny.
And Shari comes up to Simon saying, you'd be the doctor. Simon is introduced to Pedaline to examine her. Some of the girls approach Book, and he says, no, thank you. But they say...
He immediately says no thank
Yeah.
you, and is like so tense and so
He is
uncomfortable.
super
Like,
awkward.
he's a little
Shepherd,
like, nope,
you knew
no.
what we were doing. You knew where we were going.
Well, I do
Oh.
like that he goes straight to work doing something. It's like,
Yeah,
we know he's
sure.
there, he's doing something, he just wants to keep his head down, his eyes down a little bit, not knowing what to expect from the situation fully, I guess. Or maybe he does know. He's been in some disreputable places from what we know in the
from what
past.
we know
so.
of him, yeah.
And then they say, we were hoping we might have a prayer meeting. And Lucy says, we ain't had one in months, except what Emma here reads out on Sunday. And Emma says, last shepherd to come by was springtime, and he only read the one passage, and he took it out in trade off both of us. And Book has no response in shock. And guys, it would be a good joke if it wasn't so real, and it makes
Yep.
me cry. Like, I
It's
literally
really-
teared up at this.
It's really, really
It's so
messed
hard.
up.
I get
Really
so
messed up.
angry that I cry at
Yeah.
this.
And I don't like that we can't quite tell what the expression is on Book's face. It just looks like shock. It doesn't look like compassion.
And it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
look like
a little bit
anger
too quick
either.
Of a beat too. Like,
It
you
was
don't have
too
any
quick.
chance for him to like
I need him to
or
soften.
say something,
Yes.
or they just kind of play that for the joke it is and move on. But it's
It's
while
a
it is
terrible
a joke,
joke. It's a miserable joke.
it's just
awful.
it's so real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it's just like real. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think they were going for that dichotomy there of this is a joke, but it's also painful because it's real.
Right.
It's just that's a hard thing to write, but I
Right.
don't know how I feel
Yeah.
about being in there. But it does make me upset that just the thought of it. So.
Well, and especially because we never see, like, that to me was leading up to the time when you're going to see Book with the Bible open reading to the girls or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But you don't ever see that.
Right.
The most
No.
you get is
That's
him being
true.
kind of nice and touching one on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's not enough.
And even that,
especially
even the
for a
line
lead
that
up
he has
like
there
that.
is like rather patronizing and not actually comforting.
It's true. Yeah.
whenever we get to
completely
that- yeah.
inaccurate, for
It's-
one thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's kind of a total mess. It's really frustrating. It's the fact that there was this person who came through who claimed to be a preacher, did one passage and then took the trade off the girls.
Yeah.
First of all, infuriates me to no end.
Right.
That was a bad preacher.
Bad man. Probably not a preacher.
Probably not a preacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. He probably had one verse memorized and then used that to bash
shepherd,
people
I guess,
over
yeah.
the head.
To be fair, though, could have still been a preacher.
Could have been, to
Could
be
have still
fair.
been just a
You're
bad preacher.
right.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
right.
I mean, but still could have not been a real one.
It's true.
Right.
Well, and
Yeah.
yeah, and also
real
preacher
in the
is
most
different.
real sense.
Sure.
There
Preacher
are
is
people that
different
have the
from
whole
shepherd,
Bible
too.
memorized, and they're
Who
still
will
awful
still be
people.
awful people? Yeah, no, absolutely, and they believe that because they have that they are suddenly like that's not
That's the Rance
not-
Burgess syndrome.
Yep.
Yeah, where
Yes.
he's
Exactly.
talking about morality and fatherhood and family, and it's like,
Ugh.
bro, you slept with another woman in order to have a baby because you don't get to anyway. Yeah, a lot of stuff to unpack in this episode, and it's really frustrating because you see so much of the stuff where there are real people out in the world who would be like, no, that makes perfect, absolute sense. Of course,
Yeah.
that would be what you would do,
Yeah.
and I don't see a problem with that. And it's like you're a bad person.
Yeah, yeah, that scene hurts me. And we do get a little bit of a perk up when we shoot over to Kaylee, who's looking over, not even hearing the conversation, and just says, everybody's got somebody.
Which was weird. That was weird right after that scene.
Yeah.
Didn't you think?
Yeah.
It is
kind of a
weird
weird cut.
timing. Like, I understand it character-wise because she has no idea what's going on over there. She just sees a bunch of girls approaching a book and everyone talking to girls.
Kaylee needs to get laid because, oh my gosh, she has
Really
been
does need
whining
to get
about
laid.
this for quite some time.
Yeah.
Like, I just, like... I think it's cute. Like the exchange between her and Wash is hysterical and one of my favorite things, and I quote it constantly, all the time, always. But I am ready for Kaylee to be in better spirits, and to be back to being like the heart of our team, and not just like this like
being mopey over some boy.
Yeah, like what the hell, Kaylee? You are.
Her and Simon should have done something by now, like gotten together, done something. Should have happened.
Yeah.
It's been drawn out a little too long, I think.
It's true. Yeah, I agree.
I do like the lines here between her and Wash, as we mentioned, where she says, Wash, tell me I'm pretty. And Wash says, were I unwed, I would take you in a manly fashion. Just like a man would say, not saying you're pretty like he should. I feel like. I feel like that's
pretty?
something that I do to my wife. She's like, I just want you to tell me I'm pretty. I'm like, oh, well, I just love this. And she's like, you didn't say pretty. I'm like, oh, you're pretty. You just want me to say, okay, you're pretty. Yes, absolutely. I was trying to be eloquent and go like in a further thing, but I'm just
No,
wrong.
I don't need poetry. Just tell me that I am pretty.
And Kaylee says, because I'm pretty. And Wash says, because you're pretty.
Because you're pretty. And maybe that's why Kaylee didn't take up with one of the boy whores, as it were, because again, she wasn't looking just for the act of sex. She was looking for someone to
is she
think
just
her
whiny because
pretty
like
and
she's
special.
not in a relationship? Is she like just having some troubles? Is she just having like the single person blues?
I think she is having the
think so.
single person blues, particularly when she's had a crush on Simon for so long, and it's just not playing
not
out for
working
her,
out.
and it's
Okay.
a waste of her energies and her
You know
emotions.
what? It would have worked out really well if you hadn't been so dadgum picky about the words he used last week about how you're the only girl in the world. He was trying to be sweet.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't
that
sweet
great.
though. Yeah, I mean, and we haven't seen him truly apologize.
And when
Well, he
she
was
tried
gonna, but she
recovering,
was listening to her ghost guy message.
well, when
That
she
is
tried
true.
recovering from that with another guy, he took her at gunpoint. So
you know what?
true.
Yeah, I
Let's
guess
give her a
Kaylee's had
little
a rough
grace
week
here.
for boys.
Rough time for Kaylee just
Yeah.
now. She just wants to be loved,
Yes.
don't we all?
Absolutely. So we then cut to Mal, Inara, Zoe, and Nandi as she explains the situation. Nandi says that it may be Rance's baby, but it doesn't matter. He's not even fit to raise a cactus plant.
Right.
She
Which
says
is crazy.
I think
Cacti
it's
are
Petaline's
notoriously easy
Yeah.
to raise.
She says that his quote barren prairie shrew he can't bear him in the air, so that's why
Barren
he wants
prairie
this baby so
shrew.
much.
She's amazing, and I love her.
Yes.
I love
Nandi?
every line she has. I love Nandi.
She explains that Rance has the money to build a real city here,
A real
but he
community.
keeps the city poor so he can play cowboy. And Mal wants to meet him and size him up.
Gonna take more than talk, she says.
Nandi is so good.
She is.
She's
so
so
good.
great.
Yep.
Mal asks Inara, think you can stoop to being on my arm? And Inara says, will you wash it first?
Those two.
Yeah, those two.
But this was the point probably when Nandi should have realized that this thing between them was mutual. I wonder if she was watching. Yeah, she did because she laughed a little bit. It's interesting. Maybe she's just not
Maybe
as
she's just
good.
too focused on Mal, and she's not as she's obviously not as trained. She left early
It's
in
true.
the middle of training, so
She left before Inara did even.
Yep.
Yeah, and probably not as gifted as Inara. So okay.
Yeah, Inara's just a natural.
Yep.
Yes, very true.
So later at the theater, Rance talks some kind of BS as Inara and Mal enter.
Can we talk about the kind of
we
BS
need
that
to
he's
talk
talking
about that.
What he's talking about is some guy slept with a girl, took her virginity. Because what is the line?
You take a clean woman's virtue, you take the woman, and that's for life.
And then he said his vows right there, and it's
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
didn't he say he pulled his gun on him and he said his
well,
vows right there?
he like pats at his gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was very persuasive, is what
Yeah,
he
that's what
says.
he says.
Also,
So-
ladies, having sex does not take your virtue.
Nope.
No, it doesn't. You are not pure based upon whether or not you have had sex. That is not what makes you a pure person.
Or a virtuous person.
or a
rather.
virtuous
Yeah.
person. Well, like your virtue isn't wrapped up in what you do; it's who you are, right?
Yeah, well, and your actions are going to reflect your virtues.
Sure,
for
naturally,
Yeah, but again, of course, we know nothing about this kid, and it could have been anything. This could have been rape that he's talking about. This could have been anything.
Sure.
And I hate to even think of that, but God,
Yeah.
the men in this town are messed
up.
So it's just all so problematic. It's gross. And I see why Mal is like, we got to get the hell out of here. This guy is messed up. And he thinks that he has right and morality on his side.
and thinks that a woman's place is on her knees in front of a man.
Oh,
like,
God. We can't even.
Yeah,
we'll get to that scene later.
Just sorry if you were listening to this and you've experienced men like this and you've had hurts in your life from men like this, and I'm so sorry.
Yes.
And it
is
what
not
makes
true
this
what
worse
he's
is that
saying
is
here.
this,
At all. You are virtuous despite what a man has done to you.
yeah.
Amen to
There is
that.
nothing the man can do to you that can take away your virtue and your purity.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
or
right.
to give it back to you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's not.
Not on him.
Not.
Yep. Okay.
Mal approaches, exaggerating his laughter at Rance's supposedly funny story that everyone thinks is so hilarious. Mal says, nice to know there's some places left in the verse where old-fashioned values still mean a thing, and looks at Inara. Isn't that right, dear? Playing the role perfectly
He
here
is.
of
Oh,
being
but
one
it's
of these guys.
gross.
It is. Mal introduces himself saying she's a beauty. Rance thinks he's talking about a gun, and Mal plays dumb a little here. He says that he didn't think that weapons like this were quite legal, and Rance's wife, Belinda, says, my husband makes a distinction between legality and morality.
Which is
Do
interesting.
we want to talk about this?
Because obviously so does Mal.
Yes.
This is Mal's whole thing.
Yes.
So here's somebody else who has just like their own moral compass that they've decided.
Right.
We're lucky that Mal's moral compass is one that generally can be agreed upon by decent human beings.
Sure.
Generally. Obviously, we talked at length earlier on how he's off his mark in certain places.
Correct. Yeah.
But yeah, if you Burgess is the only one deciding what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
Not just for him, but
For everyone around him.
everyone
Yeah.
around him from this town. He's imposing those strictures and guidelines on everyone else. And there's a whole argument about politics and church and state and etc. here, but I'm going to leave that one for another time.
And it is interesting that what Rance says here could come out of Mal's mouth, saying bending one unjust law is a
Yeah.
small thing when it comes to protecting one's family. Mal would
Absolutely.
definitely say that.
He
for
sure
sure.
would.
He
Yeah.
says, I think I understand.
Mal
you
has
even."
done that.
Yeah.
Mal
Yeah.
has bent
Absolutely.
Mal does
many
that
a small.
And yet,
every day.
Yeah.
completely different people.
Yeah.
Gosh, that is really interesting. So, how do you determine what really is morally true and what? That's why I mean, like,
Welcome to personing. Yeah.
Yeah.
How to human. How to
how
good.
to human though?
How to
to
virtue.
human.
How to human well?
How to human, Liz?
How to human good?
That's another podcast, my dears.
See you next week on Porch Club.
We do our best. Everyone's just doing their best.
Well, clearly, Rance's best is not the best, though,
Nope,
right?
it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
And here Mal is looking at Rance's gun because Rance thought that's what he was talking about when he said it's beauty. And he hands it back and says, of course, I was referring to the lady, pointing at his wife and says, ma'am, and then turns around to walk out, clearly offending Rance.
Yeah.
So, I have a fun little tidbit about this scene. Did you guys pay attention at all to the shadow puppetry going on in the background behind Rance? Did you see how it was a shadow shape of the planet Earth and then all of the different ships that were launching away from Earth?
Oh, I thought they were
I did not pay much
birds.
attention to
No,
that.
no, because one of them is totally a firefly. You can see over
that's
Oh, I
Rance's
knew that
shoulder.
too. I totally forgot. Yeah, I knew that.
So the
right.
Kabuki theater that's going on there in the background is absolutely the legend of Earth that was,
Like the Exodus
and how,
from Earth.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Exodus from Earth, and how everybody went out and spread out and terraformed a whole new mess of Earths.
That's
I
super
thought that was
cool.
a really cool detail.
It is.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back
And
and look.
really, really neat.
Yeah. So Mal tells Inara that they should get back on the ship and leave as fast as they can. Cut to Rance telling his wife that the DNA matches and the child is his. Act 2 break.
Ugh, gross. And again, the way he says mine is just. I don't like it.
It's not
I don't
yours.
like this
it's not
man.
in your belly.
He's-
We come back from our Act 2 break with Mal talking to everyone saying they should run.
Yep.
He doesn't like what they're up against. He says nothing worse than a monster who thinks he's right with God. We might turn Burgess away once, but he'll keep coming. Won't stop till he gets what he thinks is his, so we run. Nandi says that she understands if they want to run, but Mal explains he means the girls should pack up and run with them. And Nandi says, it took me years to cut this piece of territory out of other men's hands, to build this business up from nothing. It's who I am, it's my home, and I'm not going anywhere. Mal, seeing a bit of himself in her, says,
yeah.
lady, you're my
yeah,
kind of
he sees a bit of
stupid.
himself in her.
Mal, like, okay. Yep, that was good.
I would also like to point out that this is the scene where we've got Jane brushing his girl's hair and
Oh,
being
yeah.
all sweet and doting, and it's just
Yep.
and
And it would have been really easy for them to have her like rubbing his shoulders or something. Like that would have been really
Yeah.
typical. But instead, to see Jane being so affectionate and like sweet with this woman who he just like picked out of a crowd and was like, "She's mine." But
It's weird,
Maybe not in the
but-
same way that Burgess would have done.
No, certainly not in the same way
Yeah.
that Burgess would have done. Yeah,
I think that's
it's
good to
interesting.
point out too. I think it's interesting to look at Jane, who's not the same as Mal, but he's not the same as Rance either.
Right. That's a
And
good point.
So he's a different kind of person as well. And I think it's a good dichotomy to look at him and Rance and see even how this guy who's so crass and so rude and so mean still is
treating
this
this
nice guy
woman
inside and has these nice
decently,
things.
yeah.
About, yeah, definitely.
And she's obviously into him as well. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe, I
like,
don't know.
they're very
she might be faking it.
coupley. She might be faking it, but they seem to be enjoying each other's company quite a lot. Yeah.
The crew starts planning out loud. I enjoy when Wash just repeats what Zoe says as if he knows what she's talking about. 3.4 hours should do it.
I thought that was really funny.
Book offers to help barricade the place, saying that he's been following a carpenter for some time.
I love Book. He is always ready to help, however
Yeah,
he
I
can,
love that
however he
too.
needs to. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Is that a reference to Jesus?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we say that, and we say that really lightly, but then earlier, a book is so inconsistently written, and it's because I don't
yeah.
think that any of the people who were working on it they just don't seem to have an accurate knowledge of what.
Christianity from the inside is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and of course, this is also, I mean, who knows how many centuries or thousands of
True.
years we are in the future where things have become different.
600 years.
Is that it? 600 years?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not very many. Well, I don't know.
So Kaylee says that she's going to try to help with the water using Serenity, which I really like because I expect Rance to try to burn the building down or something like that. So they're going to need some water. And River happily says it's starting. And Mal says, that it is, but time is on the enemy side and we've got to. And Pedaling says, Dr. Tam.
Yep.
It's starting.
Oh, it's starting. Okay. And Mal tries to take control, but can't.
Mal
Just loses his cool.
Yeah, everybody stay calm, everybody be good,
Nobody
everybody, and then like Simon just slowly walks back. I got it.
I got it. And Mal is just so relieved. He's like, oh, thanks. Okay. Then we cut to Book nailing planks over windows.
Yeah.
Zoe and Wash bearing a wire outside. Pedaling screams. Jane and Zoe prepare guns, which is weird because Zoe's outside and inside. I don't know if you guys noticed this.
I didn't
She's
notice
outside
that.
bearing the wire. She's inside with a gun, and then they cut back and she's outside bearing the wire again. And that weirded me out.
Yep, that's
I
weird.
mean, obviously
This is
there's
like
some time jump, but
Yeah,
they
sure.
just put that in a weird order. So she's out there, she's back in, then she's back out.
Huh, weird.
Doing the same thing. So it's a little weird. Now the girls come to the shepherd and say, the girls and I have been talking. We've been discussing what we'd like you to say over us should we happen to fall. And Book says no. He says, I only bury the dead, child. No one is going to die.
This is naive, first
Yeah.
of all.
Yeah.
It's not really great shepherding, actually.
It's terrible
This is
shepherding.
twice now. They have asked you specifically for what they needed from you.
Yes.
And you have instead done something else.
Yes.
And something different.
And-
that
First,
made you
you
more
just completely
comfortable.
ignored it and didn't do anything. Secondly, you're completely patronizing them and being like, you don't actually need this thing. You think you do, but you don't
Right.
need it. It's another example of a man determining
What
where
your
a
needs
woman
are.
stands and what a woman's needs are. And it's really bad because
Yeah. And they
true
don't know they're
shepherds-
doing it,
and they
I
don't
don't
know
think.
they're doing
Yes.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
And-
But a true shepherd, a true preacher, a true believer would not respond in that way.
And I have sympathy for the writing here because many of preachers would and would not show that care. And people have experienced that. And that's why writing like this exists, is because people
Yes.
have experienced that.
Yeah.
And that breaks my heart.
Yeah. Mhm. Again, it's looking just like what you said earlier, and they're looking at Christianity from the outside and not knowing what it ought to be. If you're writing that book
And maybe they're
isn't
looking at it
that
from
great
the
of a
inside.
shepherd.
They just had bad experiences from the
Right,
inside.
sure,
even.
absolutely. But if you're writing that like shepherd, not that great of a preacher, nailing it.
Yeah.
Like totally getting it. Yeah, he's
But he's
not
supposed
that
to be
good.
a good preacher.
But he's supposed to be a good preacher.
just-
Or at least
That's all they've seen
he's
from
supposed to
him.
be doing
Yeah.
his best.
Right.
And I've seen him do better before now.
Yeah.
I've seen him do so much better before now. I mean, think about the first time that he and Inara ever interacted.
Well, and
Yeah.
his compassion that he had even with Jane in the last episode.
Yeah, and his compassion for, Tracy, praying over the body of Tracy. Like, why wouldn't you pray over these girls if they're
Right.
afraid, if they're scared?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to have the conversation, well, this is what we'll say when you die, but it's like, okay, you know what? We're going to get together and we're going to, pray for the safety of everyone here. Like,
Right.
I don't understand why he's being completely dismissive of them
Right.
Yeah.
and not giving them the thing that they're asking for.
I don't like it either. Especially because you're right. After he has developed such a rapport with Inara,
Yeah.
he shouldn't have this awkwardness.
It shouldn't be weird. Yeah, is it
absolutely
just
not.
because they're not companion? What the hell are you
Yeah.
even? I
It
don't
doesn't really
understand.
make sense.
No.
And
Bad writing.
At least
It
in
doesn't-
this
sorry,
part
writer.
right here,
Yeah.
I think it was written for the joke because we cut from him saying that no one's going to die to Jane saying there's people going to die.
Yeah, Jane. much
stupid
better
stuff for the joke all the
Jane
time.
is a better shepherd in this
absolutely.
episode than Shepard is.
And Jane is
Hey.
introducing a girl to his guns and telling her to keep handing him guns as he runs out of ammo. He then says, let's get to work, and she straddles him.
Yep.
Which always surprises me. I always forget that happens. So I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna, and then I'm like, oh,
Different sort of work.
different sort of work.
Yeah, again, I like these two together
Yeah,
quite
they
a lot,
seem to really
actually.
be
They
enjoying one
seem
another's
to
company.
Yeah, they
really
do,
just
yeah.
kind of connect. Yeah, they're
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And then we cut back to Zoe and Wash burying the wire. Like I said, back to Zoe outside again, even though she was inside with the guns just a second ago. And Wash is saying that it might not be the best time to bring a little one into the world. And Zoe says, I ain't so afraid of losing something that I ain't going to try to have it.
Which
you and
is
I
a
would make a beautiful baby, and I want to meet that child one day, period. And walks away.
That's a great line.
Yeah, I
I'm not
love
so
that.
afraid of
I love
losing
that
something
moment.
that I'm not going to try to have it. That is really good.
Yeah, that's a really good line. And I really like what she follows up with. I want to meet that child one
I
day.
want to meet that
I
child.
love that.
I do see Wash's point, though. They do get into a lot of crime.
No,
do.
I understand. Yeah.
It would be hard to do. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that hard. You just gotta leave Zoe on the ship. Well, Zoe ain't gonna be
and
left
I
on the ship with the baby.
I
That
think
baby's
that's
being
why
bottle
it's
fed.
not. I think that's why it's not a big fight between them, because Zoe even understands Wash's
Yeah.
point. She's just asserting that might be true.
Yeah.
What you say isn't wrong, but I'm not so afraid of losing something that I'm not
Right.
going to have.
Maybe
it.
it's more that, I mean, like, have they not talked about kids before? Anyway, I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
interesting.
I think it's
or
just an
not
interesting
being on the ship
vignette
for just a
into
couple of
that.
years or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
So we cut to
Try having that conversation with Mal. Can you imagine? Good night. Hey, we're done. We want to have a family.
Could you
this is your
imagine-
family.
Could you imagine them with a dozen fat babies running around? We cut to Mal and Nandi, but overhear Jane from the other room saying,
He's outside. He's teaching the girls how to shoot.
No.
y'all are pulling, not squeezing like I said. Next
Right.
one, don't hit the board, is giving up a special treat. You understand? In Chinese. And Mal smiles a little at this and says, that man's going to use up all our credit before we've earned it.
Gross.
It is gross.
Gross.
We just lost the darling Jane, who was
Yes.
monogamous with his sweet little blonde girl,
Yep.
and now we have gross Jane.
To be
making
fair,
off.
Based off of his actions against his words, I think he's just joking.
True. He probably wouldn't.
Maybe
yeah,
he
I think
smacked
you're
the
right.
butt of his one girl. It was maybe like
Maybe,
talking to her
maybe he's talking specifically to her. Yeah.
Now we're
Does
reaching.
that make it better? Better or worse? Good idea, bad idea, Jane.
I do like Nandi saying, after you've saved our lives, maybe you can do some chores. And then, of course, Mal saying, I'm a fair hand with the mop. And Nandi says, so your legend tells.
They're
It's just a great line
adorable.
there.
Yep.
So should Nandi and Mal have gotten together and ended up together and been together?
No.
Should Mal have settled down here at the Heart of Gold with Nandi as his?
He should not have settled down. However, Mal and Nandi might kind of be my OTP, you guys.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I know, like, I love Mal. I love Inara.
But we've already determined they're
Don't
terrible for each
love
other.
Mal and Inara,
Yeah.
at least not now. In the future, sure,
yeah.
after several seasons of lots of character arc.
Which I
sure.
know from things I've read that they were planning on it being several seasons of them building towards that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Which would have
they
been great to
things
see.
to build.
But we only get one season.
Yep. Right.
So in this one season, in these characters that I see and that I know and that have been drawn for me, yeah, I got to go Mal and Nandi.
Yeah.
Nandi sets absolute boundaries with Mal. Mal absolutely respects them. We haven't gotten to their scene.
Inara's boundaries. This is so confusing.
And why doesn't she assert them?
Yeah.
They're just, sometimes you just get into a pattern, into a destructive pattern with a relationship, and it's really, really hard to break, especially without any kind of outside help or outside influence. And with the poor communication that those two have.
Yeah.
Nandi
so do
and Mal,
Inara and Mal, do they just diminish one another? Do they make each other worse?
I think they do.
That's terrible.
It is terrible.
this
And
point,
sometimes
yeah.
that happens.
Yep.
Even with people you love, sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
Nandi thinks it's a bit odd that Jane's the only one taking advantage of the services. And Mal says they're an odd conglomeration, got a preacher, a married fella, and a doctor. Well, he'd have to relax for 30 seconds to get play, and that'd be more or less a miracle,
Right?
which Kaylee would agree with. Nandi pulls out some fancy-looking guns.
Yes, she
And
does.
Mal
Damn,
asks,
I like
"What's the
her. Have I
history on
mentioned that I
these?"
like Nandi?
Yeah, this is
Liz?
another moment where
How do you feel about Nandi?
they
I love
bond over
Nandi.
these guns. Mal asks, what's the history? And Nandi says, violence and crime. Sad to say. What about you? And Mal says, similar. Nandi says, no, I mean, when you were planning to avail yourself of some of our train? when are you planning to avail yourself of some of our trade? And Mal says he's got the job on his mind, doesn't want complications, and stumbles over his words slightly here. Nandi points out that he hasn't even looked at the girls and asks if he's sly because she's got boys.
Right.
Can I just say how much I appreciate, like, obviously Nandi is the best and she's super badass and she's really cool. I love that she just talks about sex like it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's just able, and even, it's just like, you're not sly, are you? Because I got boys. Like, not in an accusatory way, not judgy whatsoever. She's just like, this is our payment for you helping us, is to take part in this thing that we offer. And it's just kind of refreshing to see that. I mean, like, if everybody was able to have conversations like that, that would be super cool.
Yeah. What I like about this scene a lot is Mal's response being asked if he's gay.
He doesn't freak out at all.
In all media around me, every man that's ever asked if he's gay goes, "What? No, I'm not gay. I like women. I'll show you I like women. Let me prove how manly I am."
Right.
And I'm so sick of it.
Yeah, because it's
Get
terrible.
over it. Is it that bad?
Yeah, no, it's really terrible. But Mal's just like...
And Mal's like, oh, no, I fancy women folk.
I lean toward women folk.
Yeah, that's all he says. He's like, oh, no, I lean toward women folk. Has no problem with being accused of being sly or
gay
being
panic,
thought of that. He's like, no, nothing. He's like,
it's really nice.
Not really.
Yep.
Yeah,
I like it. I love it. It's a big deal to me as a man.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Nandi says she's a trained companion and can read people really well, insinuating that she knows that Mal likes Inara. And she asks if Mal knows...
Well, she doesn't read people that well, does she? Well, I mean, I guess she knows that Mal likes Inara, but she's not... I mean, is Inara just really good at hiding it? Anyway, I guess we'll get there when we get there.
Well, and Inara's not been around very much. She's been helping with peddling the baby.
That's true, yeah.
So she
and
hasn't
Inara's
had
a
much
companion,
chance
so she has training in hiding what she feels.
That's true. Yeah, and also it might be easy...
So she asks Mal if she knows why Inara left. And he says never asked, and she says, of course you did, which I like. She calls him out on that.
I wonder if we were going to find out. I mean, Liz's theory about why Inara left is pretty good. But I wonder if we were going to find out that part of the reason why Inara left, if we were going to end up chasing down that Inara is dying storyline. That didn't really pan out at all. But I mean, I wonder if it was that situation where Inara was like, I need to go and see the universe and have adventures before I just die dried up in this temple as a temple priestess. And all of this. So, yeah, that's my theory.
That's a good theory.
And I think that could even be foreshadowing her saying she doesn't like complications. She's realizing that her and Mal are too complicated, and that's one of the reasons she's leaving.
Absolutely.
She doesn't like complications. So we go back to the labor room where Beneline's having her baby, and River looks so fascinated.
I love River.
River is adorable.
She's so good.
Inara asks Simon how many babies he's delivered, and Simon says, as a primary, this is my first. You? And Inara says, my first too. And River goes, mine too. I love it. Inara kisses Simon on the cheek, telling him he's going to do great, which I love.
I love it.
Good, yeah.
Love it.
And River asks, who do you think is in there?
Which is
Also
amazing.
adorable.
Also adorable. So cute.
It's just an adorable scene.
It
The
is.
only
It's
way
so
this scene
good.
could have been any better is if Kaylee had been there. I don't know what she's doing though.
Yeah, or a competent midwife, but that's just me.
Well,
So we cut back to...
yeah, Liz was yelling at the screen, get Pedaline off her back. You idiots. You're fighting gravity here.
No wonder it hurts.
Both of their first times. They have no
I
idea
know.
what's going on. Simon should know. Come on.
No time. No time.
So we cut to Mal and Nandi talking over drinks about Nandi's story, about her leaving the guild, smashing the dulcimer, and realizing that the companion life isn't for her.
Right.
Learning to say ain't and then coming here, which I like that she says, I learned to say ain't.
Yeah.
Because she's too classy to say ain't. She wouldn't learn to say ain't.
And she uses that frontier language all the time, throughout this episode. Yep. Mm-hmm. And so I wonder how much of that was her changing her own identity.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that it's put on. I think that she made a choice. I think she made a choice about the kind of person she was going to be.
Right.
And that language reflects that.
Yep. And she says when she came here, it was a dung heap run by a pig who had half the girls strung out on drops.
Oh, man. I bet that was some sort of, like, opiate.
And where's he at now? And then he says, let's just say he's not playing the dulcimer anymore either.
Smash his fingers, maybe? Cut his hands off? I don't know. Could be dead.
Could be dead.
No, that man is dead.
That man is dead.
And
Did you
Nandi
see
did
her
not
guns?
deign that man to live.
I don't know. I feel like he could be alive, and she just, like, really hurt him and made him real sorry, and he's never coming back.
Maybe it was a fight to the pain and not a fight to the death.
Yeah.
High five. That made me so happy. Yay, Princess Bride references.
Mal says that she is remarkable, and they share a long, deep look after some compliments. Mal tries to stray and check on the people, but she assures him that those that can sleep before the fight are, and asks him if he can sleep. And Mal says, I have a confession to make. And then he says, maybe I should go get the shepherd. And Mal replies, well, I ain't sinned yet, and I'd feel a little more than awkward if he were here when I did.
I love these two together. I love this scene. I love the sexual tension in this scene. By the time they're finally kissing, like, my whole body feels electric. It's amazing.
Also, to Liz's point about them being better for each other than Mal and Inara, Mal says if I'm overstepping my bounds, you let me know.
Bam! Right
When has he
here.
ever said that to Inara before? Come on now.
Don't understand. Like, what? Like, I mean, I can understand. I mean, like, if Inara had always presented herself as like this level of demure and Mal just stepped over that and just like, I just don't, it's not consistent. It's inconsistent Mal, or Mal is just an inconsistent person, and it sucks because it makes him a much worse man. Yeah. And I don't like it.
You mean his relationship with Inara makes him a much worse man?
I mean, like, if we see this relationship that he has with Nandi and, like, how much he's respecting her and all of this stuff, and he's, like, asking her about boundaries and, like, following everything that she's saying and all of this stuff, and then to see the way that he, like, reacts to Inara, and that was supposed to be the relationship that's supposed to have this all this romantic tension or whatever we're supposed to follow. It's like, it's just, I don't like this scene because it makes Mal so much worse in retrospect, I feel like. With everything that he does with Inara, it's
I don't know if it does to me, and I'm not saying that this is fully right or that this is even true, but I think what the writers were kind of going for is that he's playing off of Nandi. Nandi is treating him a certain way, and so in response, he is treating her a certain way.
So does he just play off of the way Inara treats? Like, I don't understand that.
And play
and I'm not saying that's Inara's fault. I'm just saying that he should, even if Inara does not set up boundaries properly, he should still respect them. But because Nandi here has put herself forward and is being super nice to him and loving and being completely honest with that he's responding to that. Whereas Inara is like blocking that and hiding that and shielding that and pushing him away. And so he responds to that.
Mal kind of sucks.
I don't think that Mal necessarily sucks, but I do think that, again, his relationship with Inara is messed up and is dysfunctional. But sometimes, and especially in relationships, you get into these cycles. And unless you are both working to actively fight against those cycles.
I think that Mal just might be the kind of person who has to buck against authority. I mean, he's the captain of his own ship. He joined the Independence. He fought against the Alliance.
Yeah.
Anybody who stands up to him is immediately shot down. Like, nobody gets to stand up to Mal.
Now, that's a good question. If Nandi had gotten on the ship, had gotten on Serenity, I wonder if their relationship would have changed quite a bit as soon as they were on his territory and not hers.
Well, and I
which is
wonder
why
if,
I was going to say, you asked if he and Nandi should get together, and I said no, not together, because I think it should be kind of that Dean Winchester and Lisa thing.
Oh, ew, I don't like Lisa.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Lisa. Dean and Lisa are so great. Okay, well,
maybe it's Ben I don't like. Anyway.
That's true. Ben's kind of, well, you know.
Also, we've seen over and over again that
I'm talking about Supernatural, by the way, for people who are completely lost. I'm sorry. My bad.
Who the hell is Lisa?
We've seen over and over again that as these episodes change writers' hands, that characters are written inconsistently. So it is kind of hard to judge Mal from episode to episode.
Is Mal bucking against authority.
That's
true.
True,
consistent.
true.
Mal just might be kind of a dick who doesn't want anybody in charge of him.
But that does bring up the situation where you're like, well, why is he being this way now when he hasn't been that way before? Well, because different writers handle him possibly. And
that is a possibility.
It's not always so consistent. As you've seen with Zoe, and we know very much so that some writers just are not consistent.
Yeah.
So I do like this line from Nandi here, which sounds to me a lot like a Liz line, like something she's probably said to a guy before, where she says, extraordinary impatient Buddha in Chinese, Malcolm, I've been waiting for you to kiss me since I showed you my guns. If Liz had guns, I figured that'd be a phrase that has been uttered by her.
I like it, that's for sure. And I like how she says it, like brushing up against his lips. It's pretty darn
and as
great.
they kiss, he pulls back and pauses and says, I'm just waiting to see if I pass out.
Which was adorable.
Yeah.
I did like that callback a lot. Yeah, lots of fun. Good little inside joke.
Man, the dialogue between them. I want you to bed me. Guess I mean to.
That one I've said.
Yeah. And then so my child, how long has it been since your last confession?
That one I have not. That one's weird.
Yeah, but it references back to what they were just saying.
It does. It's part of their little joke. They're developing their own little language, and that's cute. Sure. Mm-hmm.
And I do like she says, "You're gonna remember how everything goes," and he says,
"Where everything goes."
I'm gonna take it real slow.
Yep, that's
It's been a little while for him.
I like this scene, you guys.
And then
I
you
do.
cut to some heated, sensual, naked romance.
Seriously heated? Like, how much sweat? Why so much sweat? I feel like somebody
the
with like
Old
a
West, there's
super
not air
soaker.
conditioning.
voice.
Jerry,
I
can you
guess.
come back in here and spritz Nandi a little more, please? She's not sweaty enough
I
for this
guess,
scene.
I don't know. It's the hot desert.
That's what I said.
No air
That's what
conditioning.
she said, but also...
That's what she
first
said.
of all, people have, I know, but no one has been sweating or acting like it was hot through the
True.
whole episode.
That's
now
true.
it's
Except
nighttime.
Pedaline, who's
And I
birthing.
guess maybe they've been at this for quite a long time. He did say he was going to take it slow, but it would be one thing if they seemed to have, rather an aerobic approach to this, but it doesn't seem to be
They
an
just
aerobic approach.
want you to visually get how hot it is.
Yeah, which just to me,
I
a
guess.
little too much drippy sweat,
Yeah.
kind of turning me off, and what is otherwise a very sexy scene.
Maybe they have
Probably
like
just a personal thing.
They have a bathtub in the other room and they just climbed out of it.
Headcanon accepted. They just did a sexy
I'm just
shower.
thinking of all the
and
old
now they're back.
westerns where they sit in the bathtubs.
That's right. And then her hair is just a little steamy. They were in a giant copper tub. That's
Yes,
exactly right.
absolutely.
Headcanon accepted. I feel much
That's
better
where they were
about
taking
everything.
it slow. Now they're
That's
past
why.
taking it slow.
Perfect.
So we cut to Rance finding out from Shari, the traitor, that the man he met, Mal, is planning to protect the girls from him. He jokes to his large group of men that they best call the whole thing off. He tells Shari that she's earned a big bag of silver, but has a few more chores. He preaches to his men about how those girls have no respect, hold his child hostage, and they will show them what power is. He says, let's remind them what a woman is to a man, commands Shari to her knees as the men cheer. And I vomit out of anger.
In complete honesty, this scene kind of messed me up about sex for some time because I could not forget it. And it still makes me feel so physically nauseous when I watch this scene.
Yeah, and I mean, being as someone that's never been in any kind of compromising situation like this or bad situation like this, I can't imagine if you've been in a situation, you see scenes like this in media and what goes through your mind
Yeah.
because
and at
of
least
your own
here
personal experiences.
Sure. We know here at
that
least
is.
what a villain that he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that there's nothing glamorous about this or nothing that seems to be okay. But oof, it's an awful scene to watch. I wonder though, and this is something that I really feel like it wouldn't have taken long to show us, and I wish that they had had time in this, in this episode. But what on earth Shari's motivation could be? Because Nandi has just told us that he keeps and hoards all this money for himself and all of the things too. So I imagine there's not much she can buy with this silver.
Right.
Which makes me think,
Well, is he giving her literal silver, or is that another reference to Judas betraying Christ?
Oh, yeah.
that is
could
a
be,
good
yeah.
question, but he has to be giving her something.
Yeah.
I mean, she
Maybe
has
he's
to
giving
be.
her stuff.
Yeah, and maybe he is giving her good treatment, and maybe she just thinks they're going to lose this battle. Everyone's going to die if they fight him, so she's
Oh.
going to turn coat and run and tell and try to stop it and
Sure.
save her friends and save herself, and so it could be that type of
Yeah.
situation, maybe.
I
And it
was
could be that she
thinking-
was just raised on this world, maybe from his side of it, thinking that's a woman's place and thinking,
Oh, that's horrible. I hate that
these women
answer.
have autonomy, and that's not right. So I'm going to go tell this
But
man.
isn't she one of them? Like, isn't she one of Nandi's girls?
She's, I mean, yes.
We just don't get their backstories. We don't
It's
know where they
true.
came from when they started being one of the girls. Like what?
Yeah.
So
I
it's hard
like
to,
to
tell.
think that she wants out and she's trying to buy her freedom
Right.
because that'll make you do pretty crazy things and sacrifice
Like,
a
but
lot.
freedom to what? Is she stupid? Has she not? I mean, like, where
I mean,
are you
leave.
gonna go?
Like,
Right.
well, off planet.
Well,
You
and
know,
I do want to think a little bit worse of her than better because of the repercussions of her actions at the end of the episode and them sending
That's
her away.
true.
Because if I think better of her, then I feel really upset by that.
Yeah.
So I do
that
want to
is
read
true.
into like they knew maybe that she had like bad motivations and
Mm-hmm.
or something, and yeah. So I don't know. Maybe so I have to kind of read into it that she's just trying to save herself, doesn't care about the other girls or something.
Yeah.
So that it's okay that when they send her
Well,
away.
and
from
it's
me.
weird that we have this scene at all anyway, because we've already got everybody. We already know that Burgess is coming back for his kid. This scene is completely unnecessary. We don't need Burgess to show up any earlier. Like, we already know.
I think storytelling wise, you don't want to leave such a huge gap between when your villain shows up and then when he shows up toward the end. You want to have like little stuff sprinkled in there, maybe.
Yeah,
but
and it
I don't
sure
know.
did make us hate him and want to see him
Yeah.
dead.
If I didn't hate him already.
Right.
I mean, shoot,
did
Mal
hate
has
him right
killed a
from the
number of
beginning.
men, and I have determined afterwards that, yeah, I wanted to see that guy dead. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, it seems unnecessary. Her motivations are muddy and unclear. It just raises more questions than answers, and it's
And I
gross.
think it
It
does
is gross.
give a reasoning. One one of the things that may be
dark.
there for is at least him finding out that Mal's there with other people with guns. He wouldn't need to bring a whole army to take down that house if it was just them. He would just need a few guys and a few guns.
Sure,
But
yeah. Now he
there's more
sees
people,
that
can
there's
bring
that whole
everyone, bring the whole
mob.
crew, the
Yeah.
whole posse.
I just wonder if it would have been easier if like Burgess had like had a guy who was just like keeping an eye on the house, making sure that peddling wasn't getting away or anything like that. Like, I mean, maybe that's what he paid Shari to do, and then Shari also shows up and is like, "Oh, hey, BT Dubs, also all this other stuff is like, I don't know."
So that's where we get our Act 3 break. And we come back to morning time. Mal and Nandi are sleeping in her bed. Nandi awakes with a smile. Mal,
She does. I
Yeah,
like
she
that.
does.
That's a really nice touch.
Yeah.
She wakes up and she's not even looking at him. She doesn't wake up and see him. He's behind her.
Right.
So she wakes up, she remembers her evening, and she smiles, and then
Yes.
she turns to look at him, and it's lovely.
Mal leaves her room, throwing his shirt on, and starts to button it as Inara approaches. Mal stumbles over his words. Inara says she's glad, saying Nandi is a good friend and probably needed some comfort. And Inara points out what you were talking about earlier, Sarah, that one of the virtues of not being puritanical about sex is not feeling embarrassed afterwards.
What is so interesting to me about this exchange is that Inara immediately says that Nandi probably needed some comfort, which I think is not what we saw with her and Mal.
yeah.
That was
Like, she just wanted to have sex, right?
well, I mean, it was an extension of the connection that they were feeling, that
Right.
they had for one another.
But-
Which is why Mal was interested in it. Like, it was sincere. It was a
Yeah.
sincere
Like, because
interaction.
they wanted to have sex with each other.
Right. Yes.
Specifically
So
with each other, I think is what
yeah,
it's trying to say,
specifically with
not
each
just
other.
in general.
right. Yeah. Mal wasn't just going to say, you know what? I think I will take you up on that offer. You have a brunette with
Yeah.
curly hair. I'm into those. You
Yeah.
know what I
And
mean?
Nandi wasn't just going to look for any man. She was like, no, I
Exactly.
like this because they have that connection. They're both captains in their own ways. And
That's
they're
right. Well,
very
and they
much
both
fitting.
talk about, can you sleep before a fight?
Right.
Which again, this is a different kind of. I just think that their primary reasons for having sex were not comfort, which makes it interesting that Inara brings that up, especially because we then see her go and cry. Initially, when I saw Inara crying, I was like, why is she so broken up and torn up about this? Because again, because she has just said that you shouldn't have such puritanical views of sex, and must have straight up lied to Mal when she said that she was glad that
Yeah.
he had been with Nandi.
Yeah, I think it was lying to herself a little bit, maybe even. She was saying that she needed comfort, which she knows it wasn't what going on, but that would make it okay to her. Is
Well,
like,
and
well,
I
my
think-
friend needed some comfort. You were there for her. She was like trying to tell herself why it was okay.
Well, and maybe she does believe that, though. Like, maybe Inara just doesn't understand the situation. Maybe Inara doesn't know Nandi very well. Like, they haven't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
we
here's-
see earlier whenever Inara and Nandi are talking, and Inara's like, I would have called you earlier, but Nandi's like, well, don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Well, here's my theory. I think that Inara wanted comfort. I think she spent the night she's trying to help this woman who's in labor, not knowing at all what she's doing. She says it's her first time too.
Yeah.
She has come all this way to help her friend who's in peril. They might actually die. She's in way over her head. She is realizing how much this relationship that she has with Mal has gotten dysfunctional and has gotten harmful to her, and she has not yet figured out her way out. And I think that her crying in that corner has a lot more to do with, oh, my poor broken heart, my boyfriend kissed some other girl, and just this deeper understanding that what she needs from Mal, she cannot get.
Right. And I think even some of that crying might be over. She's realizing she has to leave.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
that hurts her.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if she just realized how terrible she and Mal are for each other and how
Yeah.
stupid she's been this
Yeah.
whole time and how much time she's wasted.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, Sarah. Yeah.
There is a little bit of good dialogue here that I kind of like. Their back and forth where Mal says, I don't want you thinking I'm taking advantage of your friend. And Nara says, well, she's worth taking advantage of. I hope you did.
Which is also a weird choice of
Yeah.
words, taking advantage of.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, is that just Inara saying, no, Nandi's really sexy and she's really good at sex?
that is what
Right.
she's trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mal says, so you're okay? Well, yeah, why wouldn't you be? And Nara says, I wouldn't say I'm entirely okay. I'm a little appalled at her taste. Making that jab, she smiles and walks away. And you
Right.
have no idea, like, watching that scene, that anything's wrong with her. She's not telling anything really there. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, unless just reading into it from knowing the character herself.
We know.
Right.
Right. Mhm.
And
Why does she say that? Why does she say I'm a little appalled at her taste?
it's one more jab at Mal.
Yeah.
They
Is she
jab
just
each other
being
back
mean?
and forth whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's
It's just
hurt and
there.
she's
Yeah.
saying something out of hurt. Again, I think they're
this
terrible
episode
together.
has just really affected my opinion of both Inara and Mal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's doing it jokingly like they do with each other,
Sure.
but it's coming from a place of hurt. Mm-hmm. We cut to Jane and Helen waking up, and Jane pulls a gun from between them.
Did you say Helen? Is that her name?
Yeah, Helen is the
Okay.
name of Jane's girl.
Jane's girl is Helen.
Yep.
Now we know. Okay.
Helen of Troy.
We cut to them, and they're sleeping next to each other, and
All
Jane pulls
snuggly
a
and
gun
cute
out
again.
from between them, which apparently they just had guns on the bed, and
Maybe
then they
Helen's into
spoon up, they
guns.
spoon close, and
Guns
continue
make her
resting.
hot.
Which you're breaking me, Sarah. Which I really love that they're just being so loving. They're spooning together there on the
Yep.
bed. Yeah, not what you expect from Jane. And
Not at all, and I love it.
I do too.
It's so good. And then you cut to the heartbreaking scene of Inara sobbing on the floor in a room, clearly trying not to cry and holding herself. And I always tear up at this. It's
holding
so
herself,
it's
too.
so raw and emotional to me. That
I think I'm over it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
yeah.
Yeah, it moves me quite a lot, especially
Yeah.
now that I think that I'm starting to work out why.
So we cut to Wash and Kaylee walking outside. I know they're not really having any kind of bit of fun dialogue here at the moment, but I just love seeing Wash and Kaylee together. I feel like they're like best friends.
They
Like,
are
do
really
stuff
Yeah,
good.
together.
they
Yeah.
work really well.
Yeah, I
together.
really like
they're
them
good work
together,
partners.
hanging out. Mal calls on the radio and they talk details about what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee asks if Mal seemed funny at breakfast, and Wash assures her that everyone knows that he's the funny one.
Which is a dangerous person to be in a Whedon project.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they approach Serenity. Mal asks a room full of armed prostitutes if they're ready and reminds them to shoot the man, not the horse, because a dead horse is cover and a live horse is panic, which is great cowboy advice.
It is great cowboy advice. Mel's a good cowboy in
Yeah.
this episode, if nothing
Also,
else. Maybe not a
you
good
can
man,
use
but a
those
good
horses.
cowboy.
Yeah.
You can take them and use
Yeah,
them.
That's true.
sell them at least.
Yeah, that's right.
And Jane comes in over the radio saying, "Whoa now, girl, that is just plain dirty." And Mal says, "Jane, you are aware that the radio is transmitting because I don't feel particularly girlish or dirty at the moment." And then Jane picks up the radio and says, "Oh yeah, just up here waiting," and quickly jumps up from being entangled with the girl and runs over to the window with his gun as if he was ready and waiting the whole time.
Oh, I like it.
100%. Anara holds Petaline's hand. Nandi enters. Simon says it won't be long. Anara,
Drink.
Yep, Simon says. There it is. Man, I can't avoid it. It's always me. Too. Anara and Nandi share a look, and Nandi says, "I thought it was just him," obviously having now read Anara.
Right.
But Anara cuts her off, responding that she'll be fine. Rancid,
Again, Inara not good at expressing her own emotions to
Yep.
people.
No,
No.
really wanting to cut off. I mean, I think, and I wonder if it's just the downside to being a companion that you get so used to covering everything, wearing a mask all the
of
time,
course.
that when someone wants to connect with you emotionally, you're like, "No, I have to wear a mask. I can't leave
Yeah.
my I
Right.
can't
Well,
really
and I
feel
mean,
my
like, so
emotions. I
much of
can't-"
being a companion is dealing with somebody else's emotions,
gonna
right?
say,
Like
you put
dealing
them
with them
first.
and like
Yeah.
mirroring them and figuring out where they're at and like leveling that. And so whenever you've got suddenly these big feelings that you don't know what
Right.
to do with, and I don't know. Like, sorry, Inara. I don't feel that sorry for you though.
Sarah.
I mean, it kind of just makes me think of, and this is obviously a little bit different, the Red Room with Black Widow, where, of course, Inara went and chose to be a companion,
Sure.
Right,
as
no,
far as we
absolutely,
think, and
yeah.
chose to do that. But it changed who she is, and it changes the way she is in society.
It
And it's like
fundamentally
Black Widow
changes,
from the Red
yeah.
Room is changed because of that, and does not know how to deal properly in society in certain ways, and in certain, like, expressing her own emotions.
Right.
Inara is built to deal with other people's emotions only,
Right.
and not deal with hers.
Yeah, nobody
very
is.
And that's
good.
very dangerous.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
not. I don't know if. I don't even. I mean, like, what do? Do you just call up another companion and you're like, hey, I need to have a complete mental and emotional breakdown. Can you deal with this right now? Because then, I mean, what is somebody going to be like? She's no longer fit to be a companion because she can't keep her shit together.
I don't know about that, but I wonder if it would be kind of like what we talked about with Kaylee not taking up one of the boys because
Yeah.
she would know it's not the real thing that she wants. Because Inara would see from this companion, the companion doing her job and doing the work,
Right.
she would recognize that. And so it would be hollow,
Yeah.
Right.
I think.
And we see, even going back to the beginning of this whole series, that when Inara is dealing with something, she deals with it by herself. She goes
Yes.
into her room and she bathes and she washes it off. So they wash off of her. And so she doesn't have someone that she goes.
Well,
and-
if only somebody hadn't used up all the hot water last night, she could have had a nice bath.
Damn it,
was
Mal
good.
just stole all her comfort.
She should have gone and found Kaylee and just had a sleepover with Kaylee. Like,
Just like a
Kaylee
little snuggle
absolutely
fest.
would've- Yeah, Kaylee
That's
would have
true.
like rubbed her back, played with her hair.
Yeah.
Except that
true.
Kaylee was too busy being all bent out of
Moby.
shape. So
Yeah.
maybe not. Maybe don't go to Kaylee. What's Zoe doing? Zoe's worried about having a
Zoe
baby.
probably not.
Everyone is just, nobody is equipped to handle anybody else. You know what? River could have. River is psychic. River is
That
psychic.
is true, but not very reliable.
Yeah, not very reliable.
No, she's reliable when you need her to be.
Okay, yeah.
Possibly
that's
a
true.
conversation with Book would have
Well,
gone
no,
all
Book
right.
is also being freaking
this
weird
episode.
and not true.
Not in this episode, but in like it's
Wash, maybe?
true. Definitely not Wash.
Okay.
Oh man.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
If she wanted
Yes.
cuddles, she should have called on Jane, I suppose.
right.
right? How do we get to this point where Jane is the one that's going to treat a woman right in this episode? Jane is the one that you go to
Wow.
for comfort now? What is going on?
Oh, jeez.
Now, in the Firefly book that has little quotes and things, we have a quote from Nathan Fillion. I meant to bring this up earlier when we first started talking about Mal and Nandi, but I like Nathan Fillion's take on this, where he says that he really likes this, that, of course, Melinda Clarke is an amazing actress, and he says, this is the first time that Malcolm Reynolds could actually feel along the lines of something that he needed to feel for so long. Of course, it was a little misguided not being an R and all. He's a human being, and it's hard for him to let himself be a human being. And I like that thought.
Yeah.
So
That's
what does
very
Mal
interesting.
think he's supposed to be, if not a human being?
I think it just comes from the war. He just feels like he's responsible for everybody else. He can't deal with himself. He's got, it's kind of a Nars thing, actually, where he's got to take care of everyone else and he can't
Yeah.
worry about himself.
No wonder these two don't get along. They're far
Yep.
too similar.
They both feel like they can't worry about themselves and therefore don't ever worry about each other. Rance's posse comes in armed to the teeth. Mal loads his weapons. Nandi comes in and says he didn't give her the whole truth about her feelings for him. And Mal starts to say he doesn't know, but Jane cuts in on the radio saying that they have imminent violence.
And she's talking about Inara's feelings for
Right.
Mal.
Right.
They confirm about 30 men and a mounted gun, which is why I said that I think if there hadn't been someone going in there to tell him, he would not have come with 30 men and a mounted gun for these people. I mean, he was
that's a good
comfortable showing
point.
up with just like a few guys earlier.
Yeah, that's a good point,
So
actually.
I feel like this is why he's like, I'm bringing the army.
Why the Shari scene was important, yeah.
Right, yeah. At least the very beginning of it. Maybe
Right.
not the rest of it. Jane asks about the running away plan. Still feeling okay with that one.
Right? Which is surprising. Not
Yeah.
usually Jane's not usually one to back down from a
No,
fight
but
once
he
you've
can-
gotten there.
He can read a battle, I think.
He
He's been in enough of them.
can. Oh, that's a good point. Yep.
Mal and Nandi encourage their troops and share a smile.
And they're amazing together. Once again, Nandi's great on the front lines, also rocking this amazing beaded gown as she's telling everybody, drag them. Anybody gets hit, drag them to the back and keep on shooting. Only way to help them is to finish this, which is awesome.
Kaylee and Wash get on the ship, but there are armed men already on the ship that start
I
shooting
love
at them.
that Kaylee grabs Wash and throws him to the ground out of harm's
Yep.
way.
Yeah.
Kaylee's
Makes me
awesome
happy.
here. Wash is kind of a demo in this scene, though, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, the shooting is good. The shooting at them was competent and good. But then he does definitely lead himself into a place where he cannot do
Right.
his one job.
They bring that,
You know, we don't really deal with that ever.
Nope.
No.
It kind of ignores it after that. But yeah, this is a little bit further on. But because they do a lot of cutting back and forth here.
Yes.
But yeah, they do distract the men with the guns.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee runs out behind them. Wash runs up in front of them, and we find out he runs up in front of them into the engine room.
Yeah.
And they block them in the hallway, which locks Wash in the engine room, so he can't pilot the ship, and Kaylee can't run the engine.
Right. It was a
They just had
bad plan,
They weren't
Wash.
expecting people with guns.
Well,
they
Wash
didn't have
didn't
time
want
to plan.
Kaylee to get shot again.
Right. Wash
True.
does get up and start shooting at the men. Kaylee makes a run for it. And I think they
Okay.
were just going off instinct, doing what they could. They're like,
Sure.
oh, we can lock them in this hallway. And then Wash was like, what have I done? Oh, no. In
Yes.
typical Wash fashion.
But yeah, we know. I mean, I assume that Mal and Jane show up and then shoot those dudes. But yeah, we never really deal with that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really. Yeah.
Huh.
Maybe Wash and Kaylee take care of the guys and then.
Because they
head
do
back to the
show up
group.
at some point
Yep.
with the ship, right?
Well,
No,
I
I don't
mean,
remember.
everyone's there at the
A lot is
funeral.
happening. That's
Right.
true.
Yeah, they don't really. Yeah, they really skip a lot, not telling you what happened after that.
Oh, but that's right. The ship itself, Serenity does not show up at this battle.
Right, because Mal is screaming, "Wash, where's my spaceship?"
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
A couple of traps take out a few men, which I really like that they set up these traps that pull them in off their
Yeah.
horses. That's a
Yeah,
good idea,
smart,
for
fun.
sure.
I bet that hurt real bad.
The man with the mounted gun starts shooting at the building, and it almost tears that building in half. It just like tears through those walls like it's nothing. But then sharpshooter Jane takes that guy out with one single shot.
Amazing.
So
That's
good.
what we pay him for.
Yeah.
Human resources.
Zoe and Book pop up. Yes, human resources. It hit me. Zoe and Book pop up from some cover outside and join the fray. Both sides are taking losses. Rance has some kind of powerful laser gun, like the same gun that he showed Mal, that just burns into that house.
Man,
shoots
yeah,
through it.
just
That's
like
a really
laser
powerful
beam.
gun. And it catches the house on fire, but Book puts out the fire with his powerful little water hose.
Right? The Kaylee
Shooting
rig
off there,
for him.
yep.
Yep.
And Jane and Mal notice that Rance has disappeared. And we cut to Rance entering from behind the house, which I don't know why no one's watching the back of the house. I guess they needed everyone facing forward shooting
Probably
at the men,
so,
but
yeah.
that's leaving a lot open on the back.
Yeah.
We then see Simon holding Petaline's baby and says it's, but then River cuts him off saying, "A boy, healthy," because she knows. She doesn't even have to look.
Yep.
Rance enters with his gun drawn and the baby cries, and we get our Act 4 cut. Nandi runs in to Petaline's door and tells Rance most his men are dead, dying, or have run off, but Rance is holding his baby.
I love Nandi's heart here, where she leaves the front lines to go and check on Petaline when she hears that cry.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the 3-month-old newborn.
Oh, yeah. Right? No wonder she was in so much pain.
Holding his head up already.
Right, exactly.
Looking
That's
around
happening. Like, that's not how that works. It takes at least 3 months, right?
I don't think
Yes, 3 months,
it's possible that they can't hire newborn
Oh,
babies.
no, I'm sure they can't.
No,
That's why they
yeah.
usually get like dolls or
Yeah,
something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or 3-month-old babies.
Or 3-month-old babies, as the case might be. Rance says that doesn't matter to him. He got what he came for. And he says, "This is my blood, woman."
And then Inara shows up and she's got a knife on his neck and she says, "No, this is your blood."
Yeah, I love
is
that.
pretty
No,
hardcore.
this is your blood. And
It is
starts
pretty
flipping.
hardcore, although I wish it was somebody else because they would have just probably slit his throat. Like, it would have been Jane. Jane would have just killed him dead.
Yep,
and then
that's
Jane would have
we
just
would
shot
have
that guy
Nandi.
in the back
Yeah.
of the head.
Right.
Yeah.
But you do what you got to do. She was being brave.
He then hands the baby off to a girl who runs off into the house, but then elbows Inara and shoots Nandi before running out of the house.
Yeah. And again, I forgot that Nandi got shot. And I
Sorry,
was
Nandi.
just
I remembered that somebody died, but I couldn't remember who.
I was shipping her and Mal so hard.
She doesn't even get like a death speech.
No.
Which is
no
probably
last
fine.
words,
Yeah.
No,
And then Mal runs over, and then Inara and Mal have the most honest, clear communication they've ever had in their entire lives without saying in a single freaking
Yeah.
word
they
to each
sure
other.
do. It's a
I
pretty
like
beautiful
that
thing to
they
witness.
share that moment, that quiet moment, and then
Yes.
they're both their faces just turn to resolve real
Yeah.
quick. As Mal runs outside, seeing Rance's hovercraft taking off, he makes quick work of a guy on a horse,
Yeah.
lunges onto that horse with ferocity, chasing down the hovercraft and dodging laser shots.
This is some great space cowboy
Yeah.
badassery.
I
right
love
here.
his passion in this. He's so
Yeah.
angry, and he's like, "This guy is going down. I'm done. Everything. I'm done." And then this kind of a weird joke here that the laser gun says check battery.
Check battery. That
All
is a
of
weird
sudden,
joke.
he
I don't
can't- so he
like it
can't shoot anymore.
necessarily,
I guess it's
yeah.
because he has this really powerful laser gun and he can
Right.
easily like destroy Mal with this laser gun.
Just, like,
And so
cut
they
the
have to-
horse
they
in
have to,
half.
Like, okay, let's just stop
Yes.
this. And it is kind of funny. You have an overpowered gun. Of course, it's got to run on something, and he's been using it a lot. So
That is
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
And of course, that's what happens when you think you're hot stuff and don't check your batteries. True
story.
You're like, nothing's going to stop me.
Does he not have a
Just gotta charge your
charger in his
battery.
little hovercraft? I mean, everybody's got a charger in their car. Yeah.
Future.
Future makes no dang sense.
Mal leaps into the craft, pulling Rance out, and they both tumble into the dirt. He pulls Rance up and holds a gun to his face and says, "You're going to pay for what you took." And then Rance says, "She's just a whore," which was the wrong thing to say, and I'm surprised Mal didn't just shoot him in the face there, but I think
Which is
it's...
weird. Mal says it all the time. So
Yeah.
it's fine when Mal says it. It's just not okay when other people say, I don't understand Malcolm Reynolds anymore.
I do. I fully do.
Are you going to be okay after this
No, I
episode?
don't think so.
I don't think
Yeah.
what you say changes who you are, and I think there's something behind when Mal says it, and there's something behind what Rance says it, which is clear here, and what he's saying with those words.
I don't know. I feel like the words that you say come from your heart, and
They do, but there's ways to say things. And there's times when you say things, and it doesn't make it right when you say them. But Rance is saying a lot more with those words than Mal is saying when he says them.
You know what would be nice, and we don't get, of course, we'll have to look for it from here on, is if this was the last time Malcolm Reynolds ever used the word whore in Inara's presence.
Yeah.
well, and it also would have
That
been
would be a
like
good
really
character growth
nice
there.
if he had been like, "Don't call her a whore," and then like punched Rance in the face. That would have been nice too.
Yeah, also nice. Fair.
Maybe he's just too angry to talk because he is very angry.
Pissed. This is Mad Mal.
He flips the gun and smashes it across Rance's face, and Rance collapses unconscious. I think he would have shot him had he not wanted him to face the girls and been like, nope, they get to deal with you. This isn't mine to take, which I like.
I do like that.
Smash
actually.
the patriarchy. He's not there to do the job for them. He's going to bring it back and say that this is yours. I respect that.
Wow, that's cool, Vin. Yep, I like that.
So we cut back to the building, and Mal throws Rance on his knees. Inara binds his hands. Rance calls for Pedaline to bring his baby out. He wants to see his son.
Yeah.
Rance's surviving men are around them on their knees, all hands bound as well. And Pedaline comes out with the baby and says, Rance, this is Jonah. Jonah, say hi to your daddy.
Say bye to your daddy.
Say goodbye to your daddy as she shoots him.
Man. And I like that she still looks pregnant because that's accurate. Like an hour after you deliver a baby, still look pregnant.
And then Pedaline tells Shari, you go on, you go home, go with them. As she sends the men off too.
Yep. And again, we don't quite know how to feel about that because we don't understand Shari's motivation.
Right.
So
I'm okay with it because Shari seems like kind of a crap person.
just the worst.
and
I think
they-
that's what they want you to think.
And they
that
did
she's
kill the
worst, she
leader of the
deserved this.
town, so things could get better maybe
Probably
there.
not.
So probably not, but it's not going to be the same for
Yeah,
sure.
that's true,
There's
not
going to
the
be
same.
something different. So
No, now there's a power void, and someone else is just going to show up and fill in the
probably.
gap. So
Maybe
Yep.
Shari. Oh, there's a whole new story here where she steps into that void. What happens?
How did
but
that
is
happen?
against the
Yeah.
house because of what happened. And oh man, it's going to be crazy. Anyways.
Anyway,
We cut to Angie Hart as Lucy singing Amazing Grace. So beautiful here in this funeral procession. They're all standing around and we don't really get to hear much or see much. It doesn't stay there too long.
this is 2 funerals in a row.
Yeah.
It's been a rough couple of weeks for the Serenity
I
crew.
didn't think about that, but yeah. And I love this moment. It just really touches me the way Amazing Grace is being sung over this and just the looks on everyone's faces.
And I hope that book feels real bad about not treating these girls right regarding prayer and all of that, considering
wish
that they
that
are
would've
holding
been
this funeral
handled differently.
and singing Amazing Grace. It's just inconsistent, and it's very frustrating.
Long reader of comic books, I headcanon a lot of things and fix things for myself, and I really
Sure.
like books. So my mind just changes off. I'm like, nope, that's not what happened. I don't know that didn't happen. The book didn't respond that way. He was great. He had a good time with those girls. They had prayer meetings. They had nice little Bible studies, and yeah, it was fantastic. He read some words over Nandi there at the end and everything. But that's not what we get.
Not what we
the
get.
song continuing over as we see the Firefly taking off, which I love. The song extends over.
Oh, yeah.
The song extends over just a bit there, and it slowly fades out as we go onto the ship, and Mal and Inara talk.
And so now Inara says again, I'm glad you were with her on her last night.
I do like that Mal says, I think those girls will do all right.
Yeah.
Like he's thinking about their future and how things are going to end up for them. And Mal says, well, I wish I'd never met her. Then I wouldn't have failed her. And Inara assures him that wasn't the way of it. And Mal says, nothing you can say will convince me different. And that's when we get that moment where Inara says, well, I'm still glad. And there's a small beat. And Mal says, so you weren't before. And he's looking at her direct, but she's looking slightly away. And he says, I ain't looking for anything from you. I just feeling kind of truthsome right now, but life's too damn short for ifs and maybes. And Inara says, I learned something from Nandi, not just from what happened, but from her. The family she made, the strength of her love for them, that's what kept them together. When you live with that kind of strength, you get tied to it. You can't break away, and you never want to. And you feel like something really good's going to happen here with Inara and Mal. Like, I feel like when I watched this before, I thought there was going to be something like there's going to be a connection here. I didn't expect her to say what she was going to say.
Yeah.
But she says, there's something I should have done a long time ago, and I'm sorry for both of us that it took me so long. And there's a beat, and she says, I'm leaving.
And again, I think it's a really strong choice on her part. That she says that you can't break away. It's personal to her. I think she's starting to see the complications that are in her relationship with Mal. She's starting to see how much of that doesn't seem to be fixable. And I wonder, even like when she said that she was glad that Mal had that time with Nandi, if she even recognized a little bit that these two were that they're just bad for one another. And it's the only thing that she can do. I mean, let's see. This is really the only way that she can assert her independence from Mal. She can't order him out of her shuttle. She's tried. She can't. She can't set boundaries. He won't obey them. She has to leave.
And that's the end of our show. Mal just stares off. He doesn't move. And my last note is,
I know. Well, and I'm so interested to see what happens now with Mal and Inara, because I do not remember. We've got one more episode and then the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what happens in their relationship.
I feel like
and
they
how it
never
changes.
really get to do what they wanted to do with that because it got so
course.
rushed. They had to finish that next episode, which I don't know the filming order between this episode and the next one. I know the one
Right,
before
because
it
things
came
got
last.
weird.
But,
Yeah.
and then, of course, the movie, but they're trying to rush an ending with the movie. They're trying to wrap everything up rather than continue it, and they were hoping to continue it here.
That's
so
very
it's
true.
tough to tell what exactly would have happened and what exactly they were wanting.
Right. Well, I do like her speech, and I think it's the strongest we've seen her since the first time she walked on that ship.
Yeah, I'm kind of over them.
That's fair. Some
Yeah.
people hate the Mal and Inara thing from the go.
Yeah, and I think
So-
I think if I watch the show again, I might.
Yep, that's completely fair, Sarah. That's probably good, actually. If they communicated more, if they weren't hiding so much, then there would be less speculation, and we might
Right.
be able to get a little more insight on what they are
I don't
actually
think that they
seeing
would
in each
ever,
other.
ever work. I don't think there's. I don't think that there is any alternate universe in which those two would have a happy relationship. But we are running super long. We're at 2 hours. So
All right.
And I will say I disagree, and I think they had a good future coming in a couple
Yeah.
of seasons.
It would definitely take a couple of seasons, but I think they could have gotten there. I hope so.
They would have
Especially
gotten
now
to
that
where
Nandi's
they
dead.
could have wanted things for themselves and not been
Yes.
so blocked off for that.
Yep. I would like to see it. Sorry to see the show go. One more episode and then the movie. We're almost there, guys.
Okay, so let's talk about our favorite parts of this episode.
I love my captain.
What's your favorite part of this episode?
Nandi and Mal, their evening together. From the time that she shows him the guns to the time that she's dead on the floor, honestly. I love the two of those together.
Yeah, I love Nandi. If you're taking those ones, I'm going to have to go with either when Mal is chasing down Rance. I just love the fire and passion that Nathan Fillion portrays in that part. Or that moment at the end when she says, Jonah, meet your daddy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really like
So
that small
damn good.
moment there.
Yeah, I really like that. My favorite part is Tell Me I'm Pretty.
That's a good part, yeah.
And I think that we would all agree that Nandi gave the best performance in this episode.
Yeah.
Melinda Clark. Yeah, just
she was
nailing
amazing.
it.
Absolutely
Amazing.
stunning. Totally awesome. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. Hopefully you were able to be a part of the live tweet last night. We do that every well, I mean, not for very much longer because we only have one episode and then a movie.
Makes me so sad.
But yeah, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central. Follow the hashtag MF Shindig. You can follow all of us over on Twitter at Common Room Cast. You can follow me on Twitter at Elsa Grab the Salt.
I'm at Lisbeth Ray 555.
And I'm at Flesh Eater, and you can hear more of me from the Graphomania Podcast Network at graphocast.com, graphocast.com.
We're also over on Facebook at facebook.com/commonroomcast. You can head on over to iTunes and leave us a rating or a review if you enjoy this show. Also, if you enjoy the show and you want to support us and help us to be able to do more stuff kind of like this, then just head on over to patreon.com/commonroomradio, where you can kick us $1 a month or whatever you can afford. And I think that's going to do it for us.
I think that wraps us up.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys again. I'm Sarah K. Bazant.
I'm Liz Stevens.
And I'm Vinton Bain.
And it's my birthday. Will you tell me I'm pretty?
Were I unwed, I would take you in a manly fashion.
Because I'm pretty?
Because you're pretty.